of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Hold on here. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping here, right here on the Diaspora Informative News Outlet. I'm getting some feedback here. Let me just try and put it under control. Okay, I'm quite sure we are in good shape. Good evening, welcome. That's the executive mansion. The chief occupant of that building is still unknown. What's going on? Possible to run off. This is coming from my end. I am not saying it is a proclamation by the body responsible to make this announcement, and that's the Election Commission of the Republic of Liberia. So I just want to make sure we get that right here as well. So just hold on one second. We're gonna be right here. So let's do this here, and we'll be right back right here. The program will soon get underway. Welcome to the show. Okay, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. That's the sound that introduces the program to right here. Today is the 18th. Did I hear someone as the new president of the Republic of Liberia? No, let me not jump ahead of this yet. Quite interesting. The unknown politician suffers in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. How this all happens, the possibility of getting into the runoff is more likely imminent. But what is going on? These and many more, we're going to have a conversation here this evening. As usual, the analysts are going to be here, and we're going to have a conversation. I too want to occupy some space in this building here. Only one person, as far as I'm concerned, that should not be within the proximity of this building. When the going gets tough and the tough gets going, when a push comes to shove, we will call that person name. But at this point in time, we are not. Okay, LPR analyst Sister Goyo is here from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm going to be bringing in here as well. This is All Things Considered. And we're going to be having a conversation here to see what next. What is the next future of the country and what we need to know. Why you don't know that you need to know here. So we're going to have all of those conversations here, and you will be here. Just bear with me here. Going to do some little bit housekeeping work here, and we're going to have a fix here. Okay, let me bring in Cecit. He's based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He is a senior analyst of the Liberia Public Radio. He's here joining me here. Hopefully the rest of the group going to come in here. No time to waste. Cecit, good evening and happy Wednesday. How are you today?
I am well. How are you doing, my brother?
Great. Okay, we be pouring here. I don't know. Oh my God, I don't know who is inviting this guy here, and he's there displaying things in the back there, but I'm gonna bring him. Okay, today is Wednesday. All things considered. So I perfectly suited to make your own case as to what is of a priority. In the interest of fairness, okay, let me see here. What do you think? This guy, man. Let's start a conversation. He tried to cause a distraction here, but I would not even pay mine because I'm going to get to him in due course. Okay, let me bring in the liberal progressive. It was a promise. I intend not to have him participate on this show here because he's trying to make this network to be his own, to push a soundbite, to spread out things that he thinks he can put out there and get away with it. But I'm going to bring him here and tell him he's not a real liberal. He is not. He professes to be, but he is not. Let me bring in Samson Toll from Sacramento, California, a strong supporter of Ambassador Joseph Boyka. What is he displaying? What is that?
Mr. So, am I audible?
You You're trying to bust our ear. Can you adjust your volume, please?
Once he done now, I can't hear you.
Yeah, you came to interrupt our
Throw me
program.
in the back. That's why you want to do anyway. Throw me in the back until I figure out exactly what you're trying to do here.
Baba, go to Totan. You belong in Totan. Okay, Sister, good evening and welcome.
Good evening. How are you doing? What's
Great.
up with this new technology, Mr. Two only a few days that he can just be.
That's part of his. They want not about that. Tubu he's on right now because we do not even know the definitions. Why he tries to do. Why I don't get it. I don't know what he wants to do. So I'm not going to make him to kind of Yeah. Every time the old man he comes on, he tries to introduce something. Okay, so let's have a conversation. Yes, it's good to hear. Hopefully, the rest of the folks going to be here as well, and even the our follower, they're going to be here. So let's have a conversation here. This long battle, here we are, is on edge. No politicians. I don't know what happened, who didn't pay heed, how did happen, but that's what happened if you are not careful to look at your surrounding. The liberal, if you are okay, just give me a signal and I will know exactly what to do. But let me not jump into your tabatat. What are you considering this evening?
Well, I've been gone for a minute. I wanted to come on because I wanted to come and see if they will clap for me because I told you so. I told you this was not going to be a one-round victory, and I'm hoping for my brother to come on. Was the sedition from Connecticut, Wilton, because Lofa was falling according to Wilton. And Lofa fell, and Niba was falling, and Niba fell, and they were licking until we don't know who are licking what thing. So I think now that things are settled, I think one of the things I talked about that I was going to be deeply looking into was the amount of invalid votes we were going to get. Remember last time on the show before elections, I said I was going to be looking deep into that because that was going to inform us whether or not the political parties and the election commissions did a good work at voters education. I think we even had that conversation about at whose feet do we lay the blame if there's not enough voters education. And you're looking at over 100,000 invalid votes. So technically in Liberia's election, invalid votes came third, which is a problem. And so for some of us who like to learn from now to look at the future, I will hope that these political parties, especially the Unity Party, the CDC, and the CPP, I will hope that their poll watchers have data, even if it's anecdotal, that they observe about what was the frequent mistakes that voters were making on the ballot for which we have so much invalid votes, so that election commissions for round two and all political parties can be able to educate their people, because it makes no sense for folks to go stand in line in the rain and in the sun and for their votes to not count. That is not what democracy is supposed to be about. So I'm really hoping that they won't all focus on one round victory and licking plate and doing whatever, and that they actually talk to their poll watchers to say, when you were in the room, when we were counting these ballots, when they kept saying invalid, what was the common theme? What was the pattern you were looking at? So that we can be able to address that with our voters as we get ready for round two.
Okay. I am not going to sanction you. I am not going to sanction you. We believe in people's civil liberties. And I'm going to call you out here is good. You can hang all of your United Nations passes as if you are going to Gaza, which of course you are not. You have slaughtered over 2 goats this weekend in Sacramento, which is good, which is animal abuse by itself, making that formal complaint. But you think all of the other people, you say you're liberal, but you don't behave like a liberal. You put out your program, you sanction everybody, and you come, you dance, you do, and you think, look, LPR represents a broader spectrum of all political sides. It doesn't matter. We always have these different political views. But for you who liberal to have tried and doing everything possible to transform this network into your political witches. That will not happen on our watch. If I'm saying on our watch, on the watch of the entire management, the analysts, and the workforce staff. Something that I've never seen happening. That's why you display here recently. I never even saw Glenn Beck. Rush Limbaugh, I never saw him jumping behind his stuff to dance. I don't know what you're dancing for. So you are taking this network in a different form. Good evening, welcome. You will stay here and you will get the shot here this evening. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. So I hope that I'm audible. Am I audible? The audio.
Don't disrupt. No, I gotta throw you out.
I don't know what is happening, but let me take myself out, square it, and I will be right back.
Yeah, he knows where he's gonna meet here. So he's trying to play games here with. We're not in that. Okay, so yeah, says it quite a valid point. And it is unfortunate. I'm not sure what it is lesson was like. And I think we had a heated argument, not argument, but exchange, intellectual engagement here in other side. And this is common, is typical with respect to this sort of invalid votes. Based on my own experience with these community organizations election, it's no different because people, the education aspect is significant. But more or less, people, for some reason, they just do not know how to vent their political witches. And in that event, is being misdirected. And that's a great other portion to when we're asking Brown, Lieutenant Brown. So I agree with her because these invalid votes, they came in different forms. But let me just be very crystal clear. I said this and I want to repeat this. All of these political parties, the Unity Party, the CDC, and all of those people who are talking about having war, they have nothing. They're empty bags they have. Because if they had, they will be able to come and tell us and point out their pitfalls into this whole process. They were just creating some sort of attention for us to listen to them, as if they were saying they never had people to represent it, if not all, in most of these polling centers, which is very, very much significant. During the electoral process, they did not use that time. Just how they stopped some of their voters from even to registering. Instead, they were complaining. That was the cutting point in this whole thing. And here we are. And still, I'm not sure whether there's a lesson learned from the last time around. People still scramble what to do. They want to do a recount instead of them to take a deep breath and see where they fell short and work on those things. That is not happening. We saw the politician, unknown guy. I would say unknown because the appetite of the people grassroots movement. This guy here who looks like what his name? This guy from Afghanistan again. I just finally forgotten his name. But nobody pays attention. Is there a lesson to learn in this here? Why other people have their own interpretation in terms of this guy was dead, people took our vote? I don't believe that. You have your representative. If you don't have your representative, it's on you. That's why make political party. It's not like a social club. These elections are costly thing. So if you're not prepared, don't jump inside.
Well, look, one of the unfortunate things that I've been seeing on social media since the elections, I've told people when I got here, I said my guy lost. We conceded. I think we were about the first political party to concede. And I've been in my own little political traumatized area trying to deal with what went wrong from within the LPP and how maybe to do something a little bit differently. But look, it is very sad that people who we've respected on these on these social media platforms has been very educated and very smart people to try to now turn into election deniers and conspiracy theorists, right? It does not do good for our fledgling democracy. We're seeing what that led to in America, this country that's been experimenting with democracy for over 200 years. On the assault at the Capitol,
Right.
And so I think we lost elections. Look, it hurts. I will not lie to you, to put money behind stuff and to put time and effort behind stuff. I wasn't even running for office, and it hurt me to look at the numbers that my guy got. But you cannot sit on the internet and spew these conspiracy theories and not give us any evidence whatsoever. Like you rightfully said, look, am I bothered that Alexander Cummings, who ran a very good campaign, at least according to what we saw on social media, and by all accounts is a very good candidate, that he got the number of votes he got? Yes, I'm disturbed by that. And I think there has to be a deep study, but not a deep study from a point of somebody cheated you, but a deep study from a point of how does the Liberian political landscape look, and what does the ecosystem of politics look like in Liberia? Because I was one of those people who was actually hoping that Cummings was going to do way better than he did last time, 2017, and I was hoping my guy was going to.
Let me give this guy a last try again. Let's see what happens, because if he's meant to think about Libra, are you there? Are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay. Now you now take your phone underwater. That's what happens when you put your phone underwater and you think you want to kind intrude into my program here to send it down the hill, then you pay the price. So you much better stop running your fingers here and there before you cause trouble again. You are good. We're going to have you here. Welcome to the show. Sister, go ahead.
And so, like I was saying, we have to look at the election results from a lens of what went wrong.
Can I say one thing here, please? Just 1 minute.
Sure.
First of all, I want to appreciate. I think at this time, you and us has been around for a long time, and you understand each of us relationship. And I like when I was being berated by the CEO, your smoothly transition. I love that. I love that. I thank you very much. Go ahead.
It's not even going to help you. It's not going to help you.
But on a serious note, did I expect an Appleton to come from nowhere? Absolutely not. But mind you, Appleton, there are videos out there that he was actually out there campaigning. He probably was not doing an internet campaign, but he was doing the door-to-door pieces. Now, if people are saying that their votes were given to Appleton, and that Appleton is a dark horse, or that their votes were given to invalid as a candidate, then you ought to provide to us the tally sheets from your representatives at those polling places, because mind you, both the Unity Party and the CPP were boasting of having poll watchers at all polling sites and all polling stations.
In their so-called war room.
And even before the war room, they had said it. And as a matter of fact, the CPP raised money here, and they were clowning the Unity Party by saying Unity Party didn't have money for their poll watchers and all that stuff. So based on that, it's logical to assume that they had enough poll watchers. Now, even though they were given, I guess, they slipped to first, second, and third places, but you were in the room. Your people could check and see what actually were the numbers. They didn't have to have the tally sheets to tell you, oh, in polling place number 5, room 3 in Kawiakan, Grandma Public School, we got 5 votes. And then you can bring those data and we can say, oh yeah, these votes were actually Alexander Cummings' vote, but they were given to somebody else, or they were told that they were invalid when in fact they have been counted as valid at the time. But you don't provide none of those things to us, and you just get on the internet and spew these things about, oh, they leaked the paper vote and they gave it to somebody who got 2%, Appleton. If they give Appleton vote to Boakai will now win first round. Take all of Appleton vote and get to George Weah. George Weah will now win first round. So How is Appleton the dark horse that stop people from having a first round victory? I think if you want to blame anybody for anybody not having the first round victory, is the invalid votes. And that is the reason I keep saying that the Beata Brown, Lasana, and the NEC, I think one of the good things they can do for Liberia's democracy is before round 2, you've already seen in-house, because they have the data, they have all of the stuff with them, what kind of mistake. I'm not saying they address all of them, but you look at trends, and the one that have the preponderance of you lean into that and say, look, here is the thing we saw a lot. Maybe people are bossing other people out. Don't do that when you go to vote. Maybe there were people voting and they were excited, the line ran into other boxes. Tell us that. For our people who are not educated, where did we, because sometimes looking at, because I've been looking at the data, in far away places from the capital, even in the capital places that are slum area, there were a lot more invalid votes percentage-wise than other places. This is an issue of education. And I think it would do the Honorable Election Commissioners well to try to give out that information to the public, so that those of us that sit on these platforms who don't have voting rights in Liberia but are very interested in making sure that our people are not disenfranchised, that we teach them and educate them on how to vote. Because it makes Mr. So you're having an election that is separated by very few, less than 3,000, and you got over 100,000 invalid votes.
And this guy was dancing on this platform. He was dancing.
And some of the things we got to start looking at. Look, there are deceptions in elections, and I'm going to say it, and people are not going to like me. If, for example, in Masurado County, where the senatorial candidate of the CPP, Madame Kokwe, got about 50,000 votes, which is more than what Alexander Combs got. Either there were deceptions, or the Liberian people decided they were going to vote as educated people and they were going to split their votes. They were not going to do vote one for all. They were going to vote for a candidate as president different than the way to look at a candidate that's running for the legislature. Either it was going to be based on, I know what you can do, and it's not about the party. Because even when you go down to Lofa County, for example, and I'm just going to say this and I stop. In Lofa County as an example, Thomas Fala won district number 1. He had 12,000 votes. George Weah had 10,000 votes. So we are finding out that these candidates don't have long coattails. They're not carrying long coattails. Right, and I think the only place that kind of stood that test was in Niba County, where Prince Johnson votes and Joseph Waka votes were almost about similar. But if you look across the landscape, you will see in many places where the senatorial candidate or the representative candidate either got more vote than the presidential candidate they're carrying, and that speaks volumes for round 2. Because in round 2, these senatorial candidates and representative candidates will not be on the ballot. And if you don't even have a long coattail to carry a presidential candidate when you were on the ballot, what's going to happen when you are no longer on the ballot? And so for me, I think I'm looking at this from a standpoint of education, of learning from these elections, because we're going to be pushing for civics in Liberian school, and we have to use this election as a test case to kind of come up with data that our students can look at in Liberian public schools.
Sister Goyo, based in Minneapolis, senior analyst of the Liberia Public Radio. Welcome, Otavius Jones, Otavius Malisunyo. You changed your name around? Is that why? Are you getting some counsel from the Liberal now, or what?
I'm very consistent.
Okay, all right. I thought you want to be like the Liberal. Okay, Jones Malice, good evening. Welcome to the Liberal Progressive. Welcome. This network is meant to teach people, to make people, it is so silent. You see the conspiracy, the falsehood. If it doesn't work in their favor, then it's a fraudulent process. If it is okay for them, then it is a right process. But they fail. They just fail. Little things that you are taking step up, and they're still not even taking these steps. They're still whining. They're still holding someone responsible. They are still arguing. Let me bring into the Liberal. I'm not going to be the guy to sanction you here. I will allow you to participate in this conversation. Unlike you sanction people for coming into your program. I will allow you. Good evening, Liberal. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. So. You can decide, say whatever you want to say. That's not going to change the liberal, that's for sure. But let me just say this on a very serious note. I think the Election Commission themselves have told us that the invalid vote has to do with education. So they need to go further than that. If they want to help us to build an institution, they're telling us it's based on education. What fraction, what part of education that you were not able to provide? And if so, how can Liberians help you to provide that in the upcoming runoff? Number one. And then the second thing is the invalid vote. It's so huge. In any other country, they most likely would not only challenge that to say, let's redo it. Why would you have an invalid vote that is more than almost 50% of the candidates on the ballot? How is that possible? Even if the people are not educated, either you, the election commission, the way you presented the ballot were not truthful or were not genuine, that the people didn't believe in you. And they decided when they closed down, whatever they closed behind them, they decided to do their own. And the fact that they did not follow your rule, which perhaps they don't believe in, caused that to happen, if that's the case. But you need to go further than that. You cannot just say it's a lack of education. Lack of education in what term? Okay. Now, as far as the upcoming run-up is concerned, Unity Party.
Let's do it step by step. I am in charge. We're going to come to that. When we discuss the issue, we will put up recommendations. And I know you want to run like a speedboat here this evening. That's not going to happen. If you finish, then I want to bring in Mally Jones, and then we'll come to the second phase. I am in charge. Tonight is Wednesday. You were dancing yesterday, and you told your supporters, Mr. So going to block me. I'm not going to come. Now, just how you so-called supporters and surrogate deceive your political leaders, that's how. So I've exposed you here this evening. I'm not going to take you out of here. You will be here, and this program going to come to an end. Mally Jones, good evening. Welcome.
Thank you. I hope we're not experiencing a scramble over Africa.
No, that's not going to happen here under my watch. No way.
I'm going to be timing this just to show your biasness here this evening. So go ahead, Mally.
You're not controlling my time. So whatever you're doing there, you're just playing with your phone.
So collecting data now.
Yeah, the data issue I've collected for the data issue I've collected. He didn't do it, and now he wants that. Just it's an obituary announcement here, so forget about it. I'm going to be coming back to you, Libert, Mally Jones. And I think I want to put myself in a position because I've been taking some critical position in terms of defending the National Election Commission. Because once upon a time, I found myself in that role multiple of times. And I'm going to explain why all of these things happen. I think it should be proportional. These political parties, they were irresponsible. They didn't pay attention. And they just thought it was just like some sort of soccer game they were going into. They did not educate their voter. I want to come to that, but let me just bring in Mally Jones. Mally, go ahead.
Yes, I think what the liberal analyze and what Cecil analyze, these are true things. They're true in the sense that elections are human activities. It involves feelings, emotions, it involves sentiment. So it's like these things will always repeat. The issue of insufficient education, next election, it will be there. The issue of insufficient funds, next election, it will be there. The issue of we can't reach to all the places, next election, it will be there. You see? So sometimes there are some things when I think they are just regular occurrence, I don't let to rather waste my time on it. It's like the human being. You grow as a child, you grow as a man, you get old, eventually you die. That's a regular occurrence. So I don't even worry about that. You see? So you just brought in the platform. So then the question now is, how can the platform make use of some of the problems and make a recommendation in tangible goods as a deliverable to the Election Commission and get them on record? I think that should be the challenge now of the platform and the panelists, because this thing will continue to happen from time to time. I even see the issue of the invalid votes, 112,000 plus. That's a huge stuff. So, but my question now is, the 112,000, they did not tell us in which sector. Half of it came from UP sector or CDC sector, because there are possibility the second round you have huge chunk of invalid vote coming from one party and cause it to lose the election. It's possible. You see, that Election Commission is very possible. So because all the invalid vote they keep talking about, they have not told us where it come from. They told all, I mean, some of these things were all human error and other things. People scratch the paper whole. We don't even know the magnitude or the details. All right. But my concern is, which of the sector had a huge valid vote? You see, because if the trend continue to the second round, there are possibility Election Commission can say, 10,000 invalid vote came out of UP era. That will help to deplete your strength and your numbers. You see, so that part will not even solve. And the Election Commission admitted insufficient education. So between now and the second round, they cannot close that gap. I doubt that they will close that gap. You see? So how can we make recommendation as a platform and organized body to Election Commission? So these are some of the pitfalls, probably after the election. But by then, the consequences should have taken root.
The damage is done.
112,000. That's a huge chunk of people who never voted.
Okay, we're about to get our recommendations. Let's go to our senior analyst based in New Jersey. Koto Jala-Balayans is a supporter of Ambassador Joseph Newman Boykai, also here. Hi, good evening. Welcome. Hold on 1 second. I'm not sure. Hold on 1 second. I'm not sure something not right here. Are you guys hearing her? It's, I think the voice.
She's faint. She's very
low. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. All right. You got to wait here. Maybe let me see. Let me do quick adjustment here. I'm not sure why. Hello? Hello? Are you there now? Oh, let me see. No, something is not going right here. Okay, let's see. Let's talk. Let me hear you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Try and call back. Let's see. Okay. Just wait a while.
When you're working against your own person, the labor, you shake it and cut away for all the same thing.
But that's how
that is same discussion we'll be having here.
That's the thing. People are wrongfully put in places to interpret, to speak for people, and they don't even know who they are speaking for. But honestly, on a serious note, he came out county to somebody that shares the same political ideology.
But Sese, don't even go too far. That the same thing you were saying here. Now the sentiments are coming, but in-horse fighting.
So I will tend to play the role of the Election Commission here this evening, and in a real war, because I occupy this position in numerous capacity in the past. And I know the difficulties that is involved. And it's no different from what is happening. And this is what I've been arguing here. I hold the politicians, the political parties to they do have a shared responsibility in making sure, regardless of taxpayer, we pay these people. They're supposed to do much, but you have what? How many commissioners? How many counties do we have? How many radio stations? The country is being polarized. Politicians own these networks. They do their own thing. So they will do very limited job as we anticipate of them doing. Well, say you're gonna say, but here is the deal here. The whole thing has been derailing from the onset. What is the population of the Republic of Liberia? And how many persons even to register to participate in this consequential election where we have the first branch of government and the executive branch of government have 2,700,000 people. We talk about 5 million. So we already undercut the required percent of it. We saw how this whole noise came about with the censor. People must register, people shouldn't register. Now, all of these things factor in. And two, the election commissions, they have their responsibility. There's no if and but. They didn't do what they should have done in terms of creating a massive public publicity awareness of voters. Okay, if the fall shot below the belt, what happens to the political parties? They have all of their campaigns. They have all of their representative other places. With their exhibit of their candidates, what they were wearing, do they kind of demonstrate how to go about to vote? And she was, because I saw that happening within the, and I know somebody will say it's not compatible, but indeed, because I saw people acting stupid and acting silly. Something told knows that Grand United Association election year 2010 here, people never wanted one candidate, they never wanted other candidate, and we did a ballot count. What I'm pissed with the election commission, and I was talking about the same thing. I'm wondering whether there was a technical details, because these are all technical issues. These stakeholders who are working with the election commission. Okay, we need to know the invalid votes. To what extent these ballots were became invalid? Who voted multiple times? Who marked this that? At least do a sort of short list of one or two things so the public will get a sense. That did not happen. They didn't take record, and here we are today. We are talking. Not just only with Grand United Association, but the Liberian community here. It was an election. Mali June here. It was an election that was conducted here. And people can just based on all grown-up people that you expect to do better. They never wanted one candidate. Some people just come and just crash and go. Why? They went to Superior Court. And it was a disgrace when they reviewed some of these documents. The way people voted. You know, the EULA. It happens all over the world. This is not a excuse for the election commission. But I was just saying, if these political parties, the something told, the Cotto, the UG Fagon, all of these people that were talking for their peg like you, if they are even made a mistake, and even after the election commission produced a sample of these ballot paper, and they were taking 30 minutes every other day of their parkiers, their talking point, instead of just dancing, we get a lack of creating false impression. We have this, we have this. If they are educated, their people, trust me, Sissy, we wouldn't reach to this place here. And like even look at people who didn't turn out. What is the reason possible? Who's supposed to drive their supporters to the polling center? It is you. You need to call them. You need to make sure those who don't even have RA. That's what people do. There's some sort of election, you're tired receiving messages. The other candidate, I'm so candidate, I will be participating. I'm counting on your vote. How many of our people did that? There was no education. The election commission kicked the can down the road. All of them followed through, and they came publicly and lying to us. They have the data. They have already won the election when they do not have anything to show us to prove that indeed people took record in those very places. In fact, some of them, most of them don't even send people to most of these places. They become selective where to send people because they think that's where it's supposed to be. That's not how election works. I'm saying you can do whatever you say. It's not going to intimidate me. You're going to have your day in court. So the main problem here now, this is an obituary now we're talking about. What is your new sense of direction? What lesson have they learned from this first phase? Hopefully, we're going to hear the formal announcement from NEC We're going to be next. The law says it's what? 10 days. So it's a huge challenge. Will we see the numbers to increase instead of those that didn't even turn up before coming to the invalid vote? So these are recommendations we're going to be seeing. Some sense, I think you are burning within your chair now. You want to come out, so let me just give you the opportunity. I'm not going to be like you. What am I going wrong?
Mr. So, I'm not going to say where you're going wrong. These are your opinions. You're entitled to it. I'm a liberal. I allow people to express themselves freely. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, unlike them, that nothing liberal. I'm not like that. But, Mr. So, on a very serious note, what I can say is this. If the Election Commission will let the invalid vote issues without addressing and let it go, I can assure you, in the run-up, if you have over 100,000 invalid votes, the election is going nowhere. No one will accept the result. No one will accept the result. Unless you have to come out, as Mali was saying, you tell us where the invalid vote come from. Now, to avoid all of that, you need now to come out and tell the Liberian why you have so many invalid votes. Was it the voters themselves were so dense that they were unable to have an understanding of how to vote? Then we're going to go back since 2005 and say these are the people that have these kinds of, this is the same type of election. What happened? We're going to look back on history. So I think they need to come out and explain to us. Now, other question is, those people who have this in their vote being invalid, what would they do next time? Are you going to educate them so they don't repeat the same mistake? Or is it going to be different this time around? How do you now help these people so that they will have a valid vote and not invalid vote? Because if in order for you to produce an invalid vote, it's a process. Something must have gone wrong. Somebody did something that is not in line with the Election Commission rules, which caused them to say, no, this vote is invalid. Now, how do you now tell the people, you say they're going to come back now to vote again. How do you tell them what to do so that they do not produce a huge amount of invalid vote? It's going to be interesting. But I can assure you, if this runoff, whatever you call it, if they have that kind of election and you have over 100,000 invalid votes, the loser will not accept the election.
Wait. I don't want, I would say I would not preach that to say loser will not, it's on you. So let me just ask you a question before I come down to the other folks. So let me ask you here, and I want to know, because I've not heard them, with respect to the invalid vote, what are you hearing from both the Unity Party, in fact, all of the participating groups? Do they agree with the Election Commission? Yes or no?
There are some in the quarter that are saying they want to look a little bit deeper in Southeast. Why Southeast turns so much vote up for the president and less vote for the opposition?
That's not what I'm asking. That's not my question.
You asked me a question.
I'm talking about invalid vote.
I'm not going to fight with anybody until after the election. You ask me a question, I'm trying to give you the premise and I will give you what I think. Those are my belief. You're not going to tell me how to answer your question. We went around that one before. You're not going to win. So don't try. The point here is there are those who are saying they should go and find out what happened in the Southeast. And there are those who are saying, let's forget invalid vote, Southeast, let's forget it, and let's concentrate on the upcoming runoff. So there are people within the quarters of the opposition that are still debating exactly what to do. In the meantime, my concern is when you waste the kinds of time instead of engaging other political stakeholders to see if they can come your way and support you. If you waste the time to go after these X, Y, and Z, these people in the meantime might be quoting, other people might be quoting and tell them to come their way.
You didn't answer my question, and that's okay. You are at liberty.
Now, according to you, I will answer the question the way I know how.
Okay, yeah, and that's why you're always sending wrong messages.
And by the way, this is 2018, an observer, inaugural observer. I was there. Yeah, man, pass here. 2018, press, the journalist in Liberia, I was registered, duly registered. Yeah, man, pass here. 2018, and I'm going back again. So, Mr. So, I'm not here just talking about that. I know what I'm talking about. I have credential certified by the Liberian government.
Something to. You are getting above your speed limit. Next thing you might disappear from the screen. Let me just tell you now. What we got to do with your 2018 inaugural days? Who invited you? Sese, there's a basis, there's a reason I'm asking this question. And I will come to this thing, I will ask you the same question. I'm wondering, your party, all of the participating parties, do they agree with the election commissions of all these invalid votes? Have they said anything? Have you heard anything from them? Anything tangible?
So let me first push back on the rant you had earlier. Elections in America in these and Buttercup company membership organization, I don't think they rise to what we expect out of national elections. In America, I have not seen any time where the Democratic Party has been teaching people how to vote. Elections and the issues of running elections and educating voters is the sole responsibility of the election commission. That's why public funds are given. And what election commissions do most times, and Secretary of States in states do most times, is they get civic organizations and they give grants to these organizations to go about doing those things. What political parties do is they do get out the vote. They do a lot of voter registration, but that's about it. And so I want to push back on that. The election commission as an entity, I'm not naming one individual person, as an entity, is a colossal failure in Liberia. And you cannot carry out an election where you have over 100,000 votes declared invalid, and we don't put that blame at the feet of the people who are constitutionally charged with carrying out elections. This is not a Donald Trump, good people on both sides thing. This is, for me, if I'm holding somebody accountable, is the people I pay that my money, my taxes go to support their function, and that is the National Election Commission. There is no if and but about it. They did a poor job. They should be ashamed of themselves. And now, like Mally Jones says, what they have to do is to provide to us what were the patterns. Because if I went and voted, I'm Joe Blow the voter, and I marked my ballot and I left, and people are counting my ballot in my absence. I don't know if I'm one of those invalid voters or not.
What do you say? I didn't hear what you say.
If I'm Joe Blow the voter, and I went and voted,
right,
and left my ballot and went home.
Was anybody there to represent your interest, Joe Blow? At the center, during the counting process. What?
Why would I carry somebody to mind my ballot?
Not you. I'm talking about counting. You're talking about whether your vote was not validated or what about you? You voted.
If you wait for me to land, then you will get where I'm going.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Because I know you're not happy that I told you.
Yeah, but I'm going to push back because these are the excuses you people find. You all have a shared responsibility, and
I'm not giving an excuse. I'm giving an analysis. That's it. When a typical voter votes, he or she goes home. They don't stay until votes are counted. Everybody don't stay there. There are select people that stay in the room for votes to be counted. And so whether or not the political party I voted for had somebody in the room is a moot point. The point I'm trying to make.
So then why? Okay. Hold on.
When I land, don't get me off my train of thought. When I land, then you can ask a follow-up question.
Okay, go ahead.
If I vote and I leave, and say I voted for LPP. Let me use my own political party. I voted for LPP and I left, and LPP had people in the room. Okay? What I don't know after I leave is what are the 10 votes that were counted as invalid? I'm one of those, my vote is one of them. Okay? They will only say 10. And the LPP poll watchers that are in the room will not see my name on it and so, oh, Sister Goya, we can't take yours as invalid. It is incumbent upon the Election Commission to look at the mistakes that voters made, to say these were the prevailing mistakes that voters made, so that we can educate our people. This is not good, bad people on both sides. This is the Election Commission fault. And by the way, let me just dispel one thing you say here, that people were not passing around telling the people how to vote. Everybody was passing around number 18, number 2. People were telling the people how to vote. And as a matter of fact, you had about 78% of registered voters come out to vote. That is more than most advanced democracies in the world. 78% of registered voters came out to vote. The political parties did their work to get people out to vote. The Election Commission did a poor work at educating people how to vote.
Okay, I will give, I'll take my note already. Let me just bring in Mali, LPP, somebody you voted, some LPP person was in the room. We're going to come back to that person, why that person was placed in that room. What was the purpose? What was the reason? But let me just bring you in here, Mali. And this is a very key thing, and I just want us to give it extensive conversation before we can move one next to the next page.
Yes, but I will want to consider the invalid vote as election casualties that are not accounted for. And I'm introducing this factor because it seems to be we tend to cry more than the bereaved families on this platform. The moderator just asked a very significant question. The last time the Unity Party, I hope they won't take my legs to the fire again. They were on their way to the Supreme Court because it was a very important issue. And I want to commend them for that. So my next question now is the invalid vote really germane to them? Is it really making sense to them? Is it really important for them to take the Election Commission on? I have not seen any proclamation in that direction. Probably we as professional platform analysts try to look at some of these things as impediment, but I have not seen them coming forth to say, okay, but then the next thing now is it important to the Election Commission to really waste time to tell her, okay, and the other one came from they say, because I see it as election casualty, because it's like the what sister said, you vote, you go home to sleep with the hope that you are counted to be part of that victory thing. Now they send you into the basket of deplorables. You don't even know. You see, you don't even know. And this is, let me just state a hypothetical case. There are possibilities. Because this thing is a human activity. There's possibility for us to go and vote for Unity Party and leave and go home. And while they counting it, they say, oh, because there is clear. The person who checking it, they know who you're voting for. They say, okay, the 4 year, we put in the one side and put it under the banner invalid. That will reduce your number. There are possibility these things happen. Okay? So the question now is, why the political parties are not taking this thing head on? Why? Secondly, you were just putting all the blame on the Election Commission. They didn't do a good job. I think the Election Commission need to get its flower tonight. Under all the constraints, the kind of money they even put in for, the government needed the money for so many other things. They couldn't get everything. You see? So every institution like the Election Commission, they have constraints. So I think they tried their best. And like what Cesar said, this civil society, what did they do? Because you say, get the people a whole lot of UNDP, they get a whole lot of money for somebody, especially when it comes to the educational thing. I don't have that statistics. What did they do? There's a reason why you have the institution or in Liberia, they call themselves democratic institution, and the people get them money for some of these things. What did they do? So what I'm saying here is that no matter what happened, there will always be this type of error coming up. You cannot educate all the people. You even educate them. By the time they bring the people go do their own thing. But my main concern here is between you and the ballot, you go home, relax, feeling comfortable. Now they have put you somewhere that you're not qualified. That is my main concern.
Main concern.
Yes.
And yeah, and I know you politicians, you guys are very good at it. Always like to throw the kitchen sink at people when it happens. Okay, unlike in America, you go to the place to tell you this is where you get your ballot, you do your markings, it's electronically submitted, and that's it. You don't see no any political party represented there. In Liberia, you have people who wash up in the ballot room. What is my question here? What is their reason? I don't know why you're shaking your head for. You have people, political party, they have their pool washer.
Not in the ballot room, in the place you drop your ballot, not in the ballot room.
Yeah,
I think you're mistaken.
No, I'm not mistaken because you don't want to listen. When you go vote, at the end of the day, all of the parties we saw here, they screamed, they were all there counting this one for this party, this one for that party. Yeah, at the same time, hold on. When you're talking, I didn't talk, please. When you're talking, I didn't talk. At the same time, all invalid votes under the conditions or nature, it was explained. If it is invalid, they have the right to ask. They got to see it before they come to a consensus. I saw that, and I know many other places from LOFA. So my question is, what were their own recordings into those places when Election Commission is now telling us today with such a huge number of people invalid? I mean, they didn't follow the process, they didn't follow the how to go about to do the market. I'm asking, do they agree with what Election Commission said? Or what is the record do they have to also tell us that commensurate with what the Election Commission said? You don't want to tell us. Just listen.
No.
Educate.
I want to push back on you, moderator. Mr. So, just 1 minute. If in this country here, you don't wear your seatbelt and you go driving recklessly, you die. You casualty, okay? You already perform below the law. The people try to educate you. You left from there, you went between you and the ballot box and the ballot. You did your own thing, all right? So they are just casualty. We just got to let it go. They say, even if you take that case now to go to court, that's circumstantial. Nobody going to waste time on that thing there. That just
they don't have no any record to tell us. They have something. They have it. So we need to. They also need to help us because that's the reason they have.
Who they?
The Election Commission is telling you over 100,000 votes. My concern is
112,000.
Yeah, my concern is people were represented during the counting. I'm asking, are they in accord with what the Election Commission is saying? Do they agree with them, or do they have anything on the contrary to say no? How can you get to this number here? This is what we gather from our war room. They're claiming here to say no. We don't have this. This number does not match the number that you are saying.
Can I
come here a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, I just noticed something here. Sissy said something very earlier in the program, and I think I just reflect on that and thinking about my own friend as well. He said losing an election is a very difficult thing, and all of us, even though I wasn't participating in terms of my name on the ballot, but I still feel it. And I was wondering what is happening with Mr. George. I hope that he's okay, because no, on a very serious note, I'm not trying to ridicule or anything like that. I'm just expressing concern, because when Sissy is far removed, as far as I'm concerned, far removed than Mr. George was with ANC. Mr. George, I think, was very connected. So if Sissy, in my opinion, who was far removed, I mean, I don't know what's going on the corner and he and the people there. But with Mr. George, not only is he public, but he's connected. So I hope that he's fine. Mr.
No,
George,
this is propaganda.
So,
This
none of your
is
business. You
propaganda.
just stay out of it. You want to
No,
keep me out?
don't waste our time. We're having a
It's not a
conversation.
business. Let me address you.
No, you don't. I'm going to say
No,
something.
what do you mean? I'm not done. What time are you putting that, Mr. Soul? Mr. Soul.
I thought you had a time with you, Jenna.
Yeah,
I don't. He's
because I'm trying to be polite and respectful to your rule of your draconian rule, your conservative rule, and I'm trying to calm down, but you're pushing it. So I'm finishing it. I'm finishing it.
The second phase you will come. You don't.
Mr. Soul, why would you say that?
Well, Mali just said that you were crying more than the bereaved. If you get called Amos George, we are having national conversation.
Okay, go ahead.
And you were this year yesterday.
You were running the show. Go ahead.
ANC, yesterday you said ANC got 0.5%, and then you want count to bring Amos George. Okay, Amos George, he already in the backstage. He coming for you. Sister, go ahead. The man done.
So I wanted to put something in space because you talk about America's elections, and people are not in the room. There are actual election judges that are in the room in American elections, and these people are mostly volunteers. Sometimes they are retired people. But beyond that, if you remember the Trump elections, there were even people allowed to be. You have the right to stand around the poll. You can stand around there. You just can't intimidate people. But we get because they're electronic and we have election judges there. That's why the whole counting that happened in Georgia and other places, people had to recount because they have election judges that were actually doing the work. Beyond that, if you remember the election of 2000 between Al Gore and George Bush, there were invalid votes in Florida. Remember when we were hanging those dimple chats and hanging chats and stuff, and they had to go to the Supreme Court? There were invalid votes, and the election commissioners had to educate the people on why they were invalid, and what was those hanging chat and dimple chats, because they were looking at those as people just marking and they hanging, and the election commissioners told people what the nature of the invalid votes were that were standing in the way of declaring the Al Gore president, and they had to go to court. What we are saying here, what I started this conversation with, I said that all of these political parties, and I said the ANC and the CDC and the Unity Party had poll watchers, and they were there when these ballots were being counted. Now, I said they could collect anecdotal evidence for them because when you sign the ballot sheet, it tells you how many each of the candidates got. I mean, the tally sheets. It tells you how many each of the candidates got. What was the total votes? What was the total invalid votes? Now, what those people in those places don't remember, and that's why I was saying I hope they ask their people, is what were the kind of things that they were counting as invalid? They can get that information for those people to the extent that those people still remember. And remember that these are thousands of poll watchers, right? On the other hand, the National Election Commission actually have the ballot. They have the ballot. All they have to do is look at the ballots and look at trends and see some of the things we're seeing. Maybe people were crossing in between two lines. Some of the things we're saying, maybe people wrote their names on the ballot. And we can be able to say, okay, now that's good. We know what it is. Election Commission, to all of the complaints, they don't have the money and all the 500 things. Okay, fine. Tell us, what did you see as the leading factor for you disqualifying ballots so that those of us that are on these platforms and other people who have genuine interest in liberal democracy can start to educate our people before we get to round two on what you should not do. Because if I voted and wrote my name and went home, I get to say I want to sign my name on my man so my man can know it. And meanwhile, that was invalid. Nobody told me it's wrong. I'm going to go back to round two and do the same signing again. Because I don't know, I'm one of the people that was counting around 112,000. That is the point we are making here. And at least that is the extent, that's the point I'm making. Now, with your question of whether people disagree or not agree, all of these people, I said that the last time I was here, all of these people have these tally sheets. They all knew how many votes were counted as invalid. They all knew the astronomical amount of invalid votes that came out. They know that. They all knew nobody was winning round one. But it is a political posture that they're all living with. It is the elections in the age of Donald Trump. You declare yourself winners until people can prove that you didn't win. And that's what these two political parties were doing, which was very shameful, by the way. Both the Unity Party and the CDC engaged in shameful acts. That is a fact. But my point I'm trying to make here is going forward. How do we know that Joe Blow, CC Goyal have voted for LPP and signed his knee until one or maybe wrote my phone number there because I thought they were going to go get my ballot to call me that my ballot was invalid. Let me know so I don't do that next time. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Exactly. And after we said that,
so let me ask you this. So let me ask you this. Perhaps you can help me out. Let me ask. I got a question for Sisse. Please, Mr. So. Sisse, let me ask you this. Do you think at this time, who has a standing if they want to take the election commission to court invalid vote issues? Who have the standing? Is it the citizenry themselves, or you think the political party themselves?
That is a tough question, because the first thing is, what will you be trying to show? Do you want to look at the invalid votes? Do you actually want to look at the actual ballots themselves, like happened in Florida? Then that will have to be a court order that will require that to happen. And a political party must have a strong case to say that I feel I've been wronged. And that indeed, from my, say, looking at, say, Foya District, for example, and in Foya District, where Thomas Falai had about 12,000 votes and George Weah had about 10,000 votes. The CDC can have a strong case to say, well, why is that the case? Did we have a lot of invalid votes when it came to me? Because I expected to have done minimally as well as Thomas Falai, or even more than Thomas Falai, right? It's the same thing, even just taking in Lofa County. What's his name? Moses Colley. Moses Colley got about 35,000 votes plus, almost closer to George Weah votes. So if Moses Colley and George Weah are getting about almost the same amount of votes and he's a senatorial candidate, why is it that Thomas Falai, who is even stronger in Foya, had about 2,000 plus more votes than George Weah? So those are the kind of things people will have to look at and say, now you can go to the courts and say, by looking at this data, we are saying that this doesn't make a lot of sense. Arizona Cummings, for example, just in Moserado County alone, what's her name? Madame Kokwe got 50,000 votes. I don't know if Arizona Cummings got 50,000 votes throughout the entire nation based on the tally. So that could be a case to be made that how is it possible that we ran a campaign for Madame Kokwe and we are at the top of the ballot? We think we need to look at these invalid votes to be able to ascertain whether or not a lot of our votes were wrongly, like Mr. Mali is saying, apportioned to being invalid. So I don't know, but they will have to make a stronger case based on the data that they have. As it is right now, none of them is providing us any accurate and credible data because they all were claiming the wrong. When they knew they didn't win any one-round victory.
Sisse, these people, they don't have anything. And so you're not going to take any circumstantial evidence to court. The court needs something of a evident, tangible. Let me go to the line here. 203 number 9037. Caller, good evening.
Yeah, thank you, brother. So this is Walton.
Yeah, let's hear you, Walton.
Thank you so much. So I listen to my brother Sisse, and I know because of his profession, right? Of being a teacher. Sometimes the teacher tends to blame himself, and you have a lot of your students, significant number of your students saying what you tell them, and the teacher will take the blame. This is not in the case of the election in Liberia when you were sort of blame at NEC. Now, there was civil education, provided for Liberian public through the different political parties. We saw on campaign how people were exhibiting sample ballot papers and telling them how to vote, where to go. But don't forget, our society is a very peculiar one. We have people in our society that will deliberately, I talk to a lot of people, that if they go to that room, not even checking nothing about it, just putting the ballot paper in the box. We have people who will deliberately check everybody's name on that box because they want to have an invalid vote because they are not satisfied with either the ruling establishment or the opposition. And these are things that, and we also have people who are who are not letter, don't know what to do, and they go in there and they vote. Now you try to compare the American voter. Nobody showed me how to vote. In fact, I didn't see paper on the ballot. It was meetings.
Yes.
Senator on one paper, senators, president, everybody on the paper. You have to vote, and you just select the people from the Democrat or whoever, the Republican, and you put in the box. And I was saying, nobody told me. Nobody said you got to do this, you got to share this, and share it with this pencil and the other one. They did that in Liberia because our country, we got vast majority of the people who are not educated. And one of the things we should be doing as citizens, especially people who are fortunate to come out or stay in Liberia to be educated, is to educate our people, tell them the importance of their vote. They shouldn't throw their vote away because they are not feeling satisfied with either government or opposition. Their vote counts, and educate our people to the extent where they will know how to, mark the ballot. Or maybe we can talk to the election commission to make the ballot even simpler in a way that even the margin woman will go to school will be able to recognize, and share the part of the ballot that her preferred candidate is.
Okay, the line is crowded. Let's make it so we can.
Please ask my man if Nimba can't fail. The man said Nimba was falling, no fall falling. Please ask him.
I think we all blame ourselves because our society is a hell of a gullible society that people do things that is to me it's outrageous, and I can totally play an NSC.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me go to the next caller. Kodo, are you there? Elvis?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, go ahead. Elvis, hold on after her. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Thank you guys so much. I want to say hi to everybody there. And thanks so much for the analysis, me. All right. My own concern has to do with, and that goes across the line. We talk so much unnecessary things to discuss other than taking important issues to discuss. For example, I see Rachel is saying that we came there and they have to teach you how to vote. But here is it. Our country is not that sophisticated to know that even before you come to America, you're in America, you are knowledgeable, people are, you listen to news, and people are, and you don't have a ballot bag that is full of so many candidates. So those comparisons do not work when it comes to our own election in Liberia. You saw even to the point that I was here and calling people to go and help other people that were needed to be guided to take to go stand online to vote. And you see people standing like that all day, sometimes in line. When they get there, they're so kind of confused because this is something that they are not educated at all. So to take unnecessary thing, to take unnecessary thing to be discussing, these are important issues. We're supposed to be telling the people what to do. I mean, do this, do that. He said civic education or converter. Where did the civic education go out? Did you go to Mount Mary Farm? Did you go to Mount Farm or Mount Fire Country or village to carry on their photo education? Of course, no. And these people are not aware of these things. They come there, and what I see about this whole application thing is that if people get so tired, as soon as the ballot bar is given to them, they just look at number one, click it, go by the distance. It's so tiring. And we take our time every time to come and still be talking on these issues. But you see that like your effort is wasted. When I saw the number invalid vote, that fatigue of just talking just got down in me so badly. And when we're talking about even going to make verification of the voting process, how do you go to file in protest when that NEC cannot even provide this thing according to errors? That you say, okay, let me notice. Like for example, we saw in Grand see where it is phonetic profile from his county. You saw what he said that the number of voter cards that were given off, there was a more vote than what was acquired. So those are cases, but how do you go about doing it? So if it is not like representatives and senators to go through that process because they have their minimum centers, how can you go about even doing that when it comes to presidential votes? They are not like where you go and get a center to go and verify. NEC has not even given a breakdown where you say, okay, this area, you notice that the number of votes you have been X number of votes, and this center put up this number of votes.
Okay, let me go to the next caller quick.
So it's kind of difficult to even go and file in protest with these things.
Okay, thank you so much. Elvis, let me hear you quick, and then 980 before I go back on the live view. Elvis, are you there?
I'm here, Mr. Shaw.
Let's hear
I hope
you
you're getting me good.
loud and clear, audible.
All right. Yeah, hello to you. Hello to the other panelists, Mr. Goya, Mr. Jones, and Mr. Tu. Look, I just want to laugh in Chinese at the Unity Party people. You know, the desperation and their deceitfulness is on full display for the entire nation to see. You know, some of us who support this president were a little, were a little apprehensive about whether or not he was going to win or even make it to the second round. By the way, Unity Party was so confident that they had their numbers, the tally sheet was reflective of a first round victory. It's so apparent that these people will lie and even do a political stunt that could cause our country to go into chaos. But then secondly, I hope you guys will touch on the show. This whole fear mongering from the Unity Party people camp and from few elements within the Unity Party supporter camp about people from Grand Judah coming to start war or to kill people. The president bringing mercenaries from Grand Judah to kill people in Montserrat. People who sat down in the United States when there was fear mongering and propaganda going on against the people of Grand Judah County. They thought nothing was going to come out of it. At the end of the day, we saw what happened. So people of the likes like yourself and myself who are on other platforms, we need to condemn it, because if we don't, our people will suffer in the end. And people like a coward like Prince Johnson, who is hiding behind the differences that the people from Grand Judah and Nima had previously to try to gain sympathy, it's a loathsome thing to do. Nobody is chasing him. He's been in that country for almost 20 years. Nobody has attacked him from Grand Judah. I think he's enjoyed the peace that he took from so many innocent lives, before. So we need to speak up against it, or else these things will go. People will keep it in the back of their mind. In case something happens after these elections, they will use that to retaliate against the people from Grand Judah and maybe in general the people from the Southeast. But thank you for the show. Really good show. I'm listening, and I think Mr. Malik Jones is making some good points. Well, I hope you guys will talk about a possible CDC and CPP collaboration, because we're hearing whispers of it that perhaps the CPP is coming down to the CDC. Maybe you guys will discuss that. But thank you again for taking my call. I'll leave it there.
Okay. Well, the issue of Prince Johnson, people coming, that's a nonsense. I think with this, that was talked about from the day one. Let me go to this 980 number 6339. Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Mr. So, and good evening to the panelists. So I just want to weigh on the issue of the invalid vote issues. I personally, in my opinion, I feel like the National Election Commission should be held responsible for the number of invalid votes. The reason is, one, when the National Election Commission appeared before the Senate and they were being scrutinized about their budget, at some point in time, the chairperson of the National Election Commission said funds were insufficient. And at some point in time, she tried to dance around it when Senator Dillon tried to quiz her about whether all of the funds that were allotted, whether she has received those funds. She was kind of like, on one hand, she wanted to say yes, and on the other hand, she wanted to say no. And the reason I'm making these points is, if there were funds available for her to list with civil societies and different radio stations in the country to go ahead and do civic voter education for people, I think it will help, given the fact that from 2005, and this commission has been with the National Election Commission since 2005, since President Salih. So she knows the problem of the National Election Commission when it comes to invalid votes issue. All of the elections that were held, she partake in those elections. So for her to sit there and not do anything about civic voter education, I think that should be squarely put on her, because political parties can be on one hand telling voters about how to vote. And when I followed the campaign, even Eugene Namwe, when he went with the president, every time he spoke, he told the people, when you go to vote, you go straight to number 18. You cannot go outside this box. He demonstrated on live videos. He said it over and over. So the political parties played a part. Even Senator Dillon in Montserrat, when he was campaigning, he did the same thing. But I think that the National Election Commission did not do a due diligence. And I feel if I was recommending, I feel like they should go back to those invalid votes and tell us where are the regions that these invalid votes are coming from. Is it from the western, the northern? Then we can know how to tackle on educating our people more on how to go about voting in the runoff or future elections. But they're not going to do it. They're just going to say we got 112,000 votes, invalid votes, and then whether those votes will be trashed away or they will not be trashed away, we don't know what's going to happen. And the last thing I want to say is that when people goes to vote, people only your only work you have to do is to just either put an X or correction mark in the box against the candidate that you're going to vote for. You cannot go outside the box. If you're using a thumbprint, it's the same thing you do it within the box. You cannot do it outside the box. Anything other than that, it becomes invalid.
Right.
But then they said there are other laws. I just want to close up with it. There are other laws that the National Election Commission did not tell us that even if you put a dot, just a dot, it makes the vote valid. But they said during the counting period, some people who say about I just said during the counting period, when there are doubts, some of the people can say it's an invalid vote. And then the PO can come to say, oh, let me go back to the rule. Then the PO look at the rule and say, oh no, it is in our election rule, it's valid. So all of those things, the National Election Commission, I would say they never do a good job for this election. And I hope that they can do a more better job for the runoff and future election ahead. Thank you for giving me the time.
Guys, let's have a glass of water and we'll be right back. Okay, that's decision 2023 in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. For the most part, the first branch of government, the deal, I believe, is literally settled. We are talking for the executive. Now we know we had a lengthy conversation. The question now, what next? The law says in 10 days, if it is a run-up, in 10 days, these elections must go ahead. So what should be the conversation? And not to leave this young baby in a chicken that not hashing it. Should the court step in, or who's going to? Because the liberal asked that question, and this caller also kind of went through it here. Do we need to know how can the election commission tell us exactly where these errors coming from? Do we need to know that, or should we just go ahead to have to create more aggressive? They are not the civil organizations. Are they also part of have some affiliation with this political party? Is that one of the reasons? What next now? Now we all, from all indication, more likely that there will be a runoff. So what should be the new conversation now with the election commissions and those all of the stakeholders? Let me start with you, Marley Jones.
First of all, we have not identified the problem yet. We are discussing the problem. That's the first thing. Secondly, the various political part is okay. In fact, let me retrogress a little bit. It's late. Nothing going to happen to this thing. It's going to be just like that until we go to second round. That I can tell you. But here is one thing I wanted to bring to your attention. When your party is leading in the election, the issue of valid vote become insignificant to you.
I know.
That is psychological. Once I'm leading, I'm in the early lead. I don't even look at invalid vote again. I sign a paper quick. Maybe I will pay attention to it when I'm not leading. I'm far behind. Then I want to look at everything on that paper now before I sign it. Human beings, we are just like that. You see? But what I finally want to say here is that as long as the political party don't shake up the election commission, You know, the election commission can't come and report itself. They know all the problems are going on. They're sitting down. They're waiting. If you don't shake them up, they're not going to do nothing. You see, like what one of the quarter said about one of the CDC top ranking officer was displaying the ballot. Say, oh, they want here, and you gotta play duel. You do it like day. That the one the political, that the one UP need to start doing now. But let's say the issue of the issue of ANC, all the
what?
Oh, what
man,
now?
you say ANC phone now. You don't want to get an ANC phone too.
So at the end of the day, all the front runner, I'm sorry to say, all the front runner who declare early defeat, swallow early defeat pills.
Is that a vitamin or antibiotic?
Oh, I think that antibiotics, and it puts some of them to sleep already. So what I'm seeing here is that they are not concerned about the invalid vote anymore. They don't even care. The only person that care now about the invalid vote right now would be the runner-up, like UP. But His Excellency, the councillor who took the pill. And
I know you're coming, come on, man. You see, we get ready to peace. You coming start something.
The ANC, followed by the ANC, who also went to the urgent care clinic.
Oh my
so it's
goodness.
like all these guys, they already they already took their medication. We can't do nothing about them. They are recovering now. So the person who refused to take the pill, and I'm gonna congratulate them. They were so smart that UP. So they invalid voting now that UP is supposed to take their case up. If they don't take their case up, Mr. Moderator,
when you say take the case up, take it where?
Take the case up, because to be frank with you, taking the case to court is not going to do anything. But so maybe they can confront. Let me not use the word confront. They can meet the election commission and demand that portion of the invalid vote that involve UP. They want to see it. And I know NEC will say, okay, we'll either do it or we'll not do it. Then if they say they will not do it, saying you didn't take the pill, you threaten them with lawsuit, then maybe you will strike a deal. That one portion. The other portion is go around now and start demonstrating to your people, because we don't know who are the casualties right now. We don't know them. Tell them this is number one now, or number two. You're supposed to check it like this. Check it like this. Check it like this. So that's the only thing, because NEC is an institution. If you don't shake them, they're not going to move. Trust me, they will not move.
Okay. The Liberal. Let me see who's still on the line, and then I will come to the line. The Liberal, are you there?
Yeah, Mr. So.
The Liberal sleeping.
For what? That me will sleep Saturday. I here to watch him. Here's the counter with that Tabata. You go in here with PhD logic. That logic not holding here. The people who sleeping. You medical doctor to tell who taking medicine, who not taking medicine. I'm asleep. But no, Mr. So, I think this election and this upcoming runner. I think Mali is quite correct. Those who, Ambassador Baka and his people, and President we are his people, they know already that only two of them go. So what the point of trying to shake up or trying to make enemy with the leader? I mean the runner, who is the election commission. So for them, I think they're quite satisfied. But interestingly, I think if the leaders themselves, including Ambassador Baka and President Weah, they need to let the election commission know to help Liberians, to help them. They need to help to build the institution. Because this type of invalid vote, with the huge number, I can assure you, and I stated that earlier. Let me say it again. If it happens in the run-up, the loser most likely will challenge that invalid vote issue. So in order for that to be muted, as far as I'm concerned, they need to bring it up, have that discussion with the political leaders themselves, all of the stakeholders, have a meeting with them and say, this is what went wrong. So those of you that have the ability to talk to the Liberian people, to bring it up, to go to social media, whatever, this is the kinds of stuff we need to avoid. Then those of us who got big mouth, want to follow this, will start telling people, you need to do this, you need to do that. But if they think they're just going to sit down and let the thing repeat itself, they're going to have some serious problems. And last time, Mr. So, they don't have good record at the Supreme Court. Remember, Supreme Court ordered them some time ago to go and clean their act. So this is one of those. So I would say that the president and Ambassador Baka need to come together for once. I mean, the election, yes, but they're trying to lead a country. Let the country view them as people who are in the interest of the country. By their coming together at this stage, knowing fully well they're going to be the only two people that go for the roundup, let them come together. This is so much of a huge numbers. We can't have this repeating itself. So they need to help us.
Okay, I think calling for the conference will be the political parties with NEC to address it. That's the most logical way to go to figure out, and perhaps
I told you before the night is over.
I know why you said you are getting you are pleading the law. You are not calling for conference. You are not calling. I'm always honest. Hold on 1 second. Now you're calling for a conference in civilized society. Conference, calling a conference, a round table. That's the best thing to do. Let's go to this number, and I go to Sese Goya. I standing by. Okay, let's go back. 203. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
So, what is the best way forward now in this second phase in order to kind of curtail or put to rest this sort of almost half of the electorate being votes being disqualified? What's the way forward?
I think we'll see improvement because now the amount of candidates, has reduced. Only got 2 people on the ballot, and I said voters want to play games, and like I said, that's an honest opinion I'm giving you. I spoke to people that deliberately are blank on this stuff that will be invalid, and there are also people who didn't know how to really do the vote, even though there was a little bit of education from the political parties out there. I think this time around it will be even better because we only have 2 people. And one thing about it, brother, so that we should educate not only our people that go to vote, but those the people who want to be president like Liberia. Let me honest here, man. A small person like Liberia, I know what there's some more people on the ballot paper for a small country like that. How you expect the people to vote? For make people less money, even you have paper looking in the villages. How you expect them to vote? How do you expect them to know who is who? I think the kids, and to even get one for them. Maybe if one person will be themselves and that they are voting or being a white and vote for that candidate. So I cannot understand why we don't work together. Like I think we keep them, you keep someone going to join or going to UP and the other person comes to the party and forming a coalition where everybody do a primary and then select or elect the statement for that party, and Mr.
Okay.
Will have a 2 or 3 or 4 candidates where people will know how to make the choice.
Let's leave it at. Let's leave it at.
People is difficult.
Okay, quickly here. Let's go, Carter. Let's go, and now go to Esther. Carter, are you there? Hello.
I'm there. Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, so what is the way forward now? If you are providing counsel, be it to NEC and all of the political parties, knowing what we know now in the first phase of this election, what should be the concentration right now?
From my end, I think what is to start doing now is if they are not thinking on, doing the worst thing where to take a side, as an institution, they should start correcting those mistakes right now. Because you can't come out and say voter irregularities and those irregularities not corrected before you take on embarking on the next step. That is, we are saying that those same acts will be repeated. So you have to solve those problems that are existing right now before, because we know because of the number of people, it was going to be very difficult to have 61% in plus. But it's just like, as a political party, everybody wants to give themselves as due. You hear people saying, we get this, we get that. But it's kind of difficult. The problems are there. Forecasts are there. NEC knows what to do. Get the various districts, various counties, or what you want to, give them the number of votes out there. Let the people be able to dodge it. Whatever repercussion they have to do, let them start doing it now. Or else we're going to start repeating the same thing. Because as somebody rightly said, the letter is not her first time doing elections. She should have been quite knowledgeable about these things to make the correction. But at this point, they didn't make all of the corrections, and they kept saying they were on top of things. All that the one thing they have done it in NEC, and nothing had been done to stop them from doing what it did. So they don't care. Nobody in Liberia is really able to take a stand against NEC. That's why they continue to do this. If somebody was dismissed or somebody was action was taken against somebody, they will be doing what they're doing. So for me, it's to start sorting all of these problems now before getting back to the election, or else we're going to see the same thing that we have.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to Madam Moore, who is also a contributor here. Esther, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. So, good evening to the communists.
Okay, so let me just extend your message you sent to Mali. Please, Mr. Mali, please leave ANC alone, correct?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. So, thanks again for having me on the show. One of the things I want to talk about is investing in institutions in Liberia. Right now, most of us will look at the NEC and talk about everything they did that was wrong. But then when we give people jobs, most of the time we like to do shortcuts. So you don't give the person the full everything they will need to complete that job. If I am an employer and going to employ somebody to do something for me, I know what they need. I should give them everything so that if the person doesn't do the job well, then I will hold them responsible for that. I'm not sure how much will be invested into NEC to carry on these elections. So everybody is blaming NEC right now. That's the same thing. They build hospitals and then you put doctors in there, no medication. The doctors are there watching people dying. But if you bring those same doctors in the United States here, they will perform beyond everything that they will do that. They will do so much good. So let us this time, I think one of the things that we should be able to talk about, let we invest into important institutions like this, because these are the people at the end of the day going to decide who value vote, the correct vote, and things like that, or go out and educate people about voting. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. We should invest into our institutions, very important institutions like this. And whoever become president as the other contributors here, they should look at these things. Because at the end of the day, our children will count, and they shouldn't be able to go through these things that we're going through today. Having that amount of invalid vote, that's too much to have. And as you said, I'm not sure how are we even going to count that. Is it 20 political parties going to say, okay, this candidate A has 10, candidate B has 5, candidate C has this and that? That's too much, even for the election commission too. That is too much. Those things are manually checked. They're not going through some like electrical system to check it. Think you can have people like checking ballots using flashlights into the 1st century. Using flashlight to check. So to also look at the problem that they're going through using flashlight to check all those things.
All right,
so yeah, so that Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I just wanted to talk about.
Okay, thank you. Let me go to Sissy and let me just add a little bit piece of layer here to having heard all of my different views here. Let me add this and you can expand on the preview here. Uh, it's just like a ringing the belt that we take a second thought of the formulations of our election commissions to have it like more or less to have elect a board of commissioners. Those people, because the independence of these people was right now our constitution, the president appoint these people. So the perception, the mindset from everybody, people have the right to do that. And their loyalty lies in those who appoint them to do these jobs. So their independence is more or less minimum to the expectations of the people because they were appointed. Is that one factor of it? Is that something now that we could most likely try to start considering in the long run so that we can see these a viable entity, this sort of institution to be more or less independent, that they will be more held accountable uh, to the people, and then you can add up to the previous conversation.
Okay. Well, let me start out with the previous and I'll link because that's a very good question. And my own brother, I know we don't respond to callers here, but my own brother Elvis, because we're so cool, I want to respond to his comment. When he tried to blame the Unity Party for being so obnoxious and passing around city one election, are you really kidding me? What's his name? Kev Hassan was on this show, and I asked him if they're going to have a one term vote, he's a victory. He said yes, and I said by what percent? Remember that? He said
Right.
the data they got 52%. This is Kev Hassan. You have Deputy Minister of Information posting on Facebook over and over that there was a one-term leaking. They were leaking it. You have Eugene Nagbede all doing the same thing. You had even Akaris Gray until a few days ago was trying to host a victory rally when he knew he had lost. So, but yeah, let's start passing the blame around. Both the Unity Party and the CDC behave badly with data. Let's just put it out there. And coming to your point, look, integrity institutions like the National Election Commissions, there are researched reasons why they make those positions tenure positions, so that your job exists beyond the president or the president that nominated you, that hired you, right? Because it's tenure position. And the reason for that is for you to have that independence, knowing that I am not answerable to this person. They can't withdraw me, call me back, and do other things. That is the reason that we're built out that way, so that when you get into those positions, like on the Supreme Court in Liberia and all those things, that you understand that I am here and I am not beholden to who put me here, because they can't take me back. Well, up until Kabina Janet situation, right? And so that was the thought, that was the intent, and those are very noble intents. Now, my one fear here is that in Liberia, where politicians are not usually answerable to people who elect them until it's time for elections, having people run to become political parties or on political lines to run elections, I think create a lot of problems, because now I'm there. If, for example, you came on Citizen Unification Party and you're there and CC is running, how much credibility do you really have to make sure that everything is fair and balanced? So I see that as a way of trying to solve issue, but I also see that as a way of opening up more issues. And look, we can't talk more any less than what happens with the invalid votes. Remember Lo-Fi elections? Remember Lo-Fi elections was what brought me to this platform in the first place. Remember
Right.
how we talked about the invalid votes in Lo-Fi, Mr. So you still remember that conversation,
Right.
right?
Right.
There were
Well,
so many invalid votes. We had conversations about that. You would think that, and I don't want to call one person in, because the election commission is a commission, it's a collective commission, and I don't like when people keep calling Deviata Brown Asana name alone. I said, and I know she's the head, but there's a commission for a reason, right? It is an entity. The entity, the National Election Commission as an entity, I don't know if they reflect after elections. They go back in house and reflect and say what went wrong, what went right, how can we improve on that? Because looking at what happened in Lofa County with those invalid votes, we talked about it, and everything just people just left it. It went silent, and now I'm afraid, Mr. So, that we will ignore this. We will go to runoff. Runoff will be over with. Nobody will try to clean house and neck We will wait again till the next elections again, and we'll have the exact same conversations again about invalid votes. Just real quick, Montserrat County, the presidential ballot, you had about 26,000, it was almost about 3.6% invalid votes, right, in Montserrat. That is the sum of about maybe after the third place to the next 5 people beyond that. You understand that? Invalid votes. And on this, in the same Montserrat County, you have in a senatorial race, you have about 51,000 invalid votes, 26,000 presidential, 51,000 senatorial in the same county, right? And so this is worrisome. And I truly believe it doesn't have to go to court. Like people who really want to make sure that our people who stood in the rain, who stood in the mud, who went in the sun to vote, that at minimum their votes count. And the way to do that is to just say, what are the trends we're seeing? How can we educate our people so that they vote in the right way? And here's the thing: this is not a CDC or Unity Party thing, because we don't even know who vote is being counted as invalid.
Who was the victim, right?
It's not even one person interest. It's not that we know. And if you think about it, in Montserrat County, I heard some stories. I don't know if it's true, that back in the day, CDC would vote and start busting your eye and this, and those votes were invalid. Those were jokes. But I'm looking at, if you go down to Lpr County, where we're looking at these invalid votes, and you all the way down in the villages where our people maybe you put your thumbprint and it crosses 2 lines. Now that's invalid. So there has to be. I mean, for me, I'm not trying to apportion blame or say that this is something that needs to go to court, because you go to court, you take forever before you come back out. I just think, for me, I want the National Election Commission, as an individual that is on this platform and talking every day, and as an educator, I want National Election Commission to actually guide me. Tell me what are the trends you saw in those invalid votes, so that we can do the work for you. We can start educating our people on this platform on how to vote, so that when they go to the second round, that that what they want, that their voices are heard. That is just the point I'm making.
I'm sorry, there was a story, but I can't mention that, so no need of talking it from Mount Gibby. It's not, seriously, it's unbelievable, because this election, there are a lot of things happened in the past, and it brought in back some sort of flashback reflection. If you hear certain people name that are participating, there was an outburst. But for the integrity of this network, we can say it. Let's get to the last critical thing before we go on. And I want us to have a really sort of a review. Out of the 18 gone, narrowed down to 2, right? So it's squared down to 2, more or less good level playing field. So who has the political advantage and disadvantage? Let us remember, the senators, the representatives, they are no longer on the ballot. That is consequential. That is important. This is where the resources comes in to execute an effective election. Because this election, more or less, it was also voted on a variety of issues. Okay, I'm a senator aspirant, I'm a representative seeking for Unity Party. So I'm voting for my guy here, I'm voting for the other guy. Those guys are not there. And I know most of those people without the facts, but to the large extent, they executed, they waged their own campaign. Maybe a resource that comes in very limited from the party side. Now, can these people, those guys that won, the man from Grand Gita that won, can he go back, some of them to independent? Can he go back now to his county to campaign for Joseph Boyka, to campaign for George Weah? That is a critical issue, and this is where the real resources come in, because the man already celebrating himself. He done with all of it headed here. So who's who in this whole thing here? Let me start with Malley's June. Malley, will you be going, let me make you temporary senator of Lpr County, and you already want, do you want to be with CDC or Unity Party?
None.
You don't want to be with, okay. So let's say you senator, none. I agree with you. So, but that's a critical aspect now. Do you think these guys, because this is where you deploy your surrogate now, because Boyka cannot be in 10 days, it's not possible to be in all of the counties to carry on campaign. Can George Weah do it? I don't know. That's a difficult one here. But they have their senators, they have their representatives. I assume these people were elected because these people somehow, admire their political, or they have some admiration for them for which they were elected. Do you think those guys going to go back just how they were going from village to tell their people to vote for their choice? Do you think that's what's going to happen? Or we're going to see a different scenario again and we're going to come back here to have this conversation?
Well, the answer is no and yes. If we all agree in principle, if they all agree in principle that Georgia is taking this country in the wrong direction, then the answer is yes. But if they have this undivided thing, then the answer is no. All right. So I strongly believe that what is happening now is like history is about to repeat itself again. But it's like I want to really give my credit to Unity Party for preventing CDC after 6 years in power, for preventing CDC from getting 50 plus 1. I really want to give them that credit. Because 6 years, with all the resources, they should have just knocked that cutting tree down, just, in a split second. It didn't happen. So I want to take my hat off to them for a very hard work. I consider it as victory in disguise. But here is the thing. If we go back to 2017, there were too many errors, round 2. If the Unity Party don't revisit those errors and get relaxed, trust me, I can see.
What example of the errors?
No. We'll get more time to talk about those errors now tonight. I can see CDC taking over. I have just developed a strategy that probably I will sell to Unity Party because I strongly believe CDC is taking our country in the wrong direction. I don't have to be in any party. Yes. The massive disappearance and killing of our people alone, where a government don't protect citizens, is a problem for me. But I just developed a strategy today. And the title of that strategy is 01 DRS4 strategy. And if the UP use the 01 DRS4 strategy, they are going to beat CDC. I will expand on it next week or tomorrow.
What kind of code is that?
Mr. Moderator, I gotta leave. I'm going to pick up my daughter. But actually, it's a strategy that I have developed that I can sell to UPP if they need it.
You brought DRS.
Yeah, it's titled 01 DRS4 strategy.
The Democratic Republic of Congo?
Well, I will get you the breakdown.
Okay. My goodness, matter is something else. Okay, the liberal.
Yeah.
So this is I'm watching to see, and there are two things here. Let me just point it out because we also have to look at where all of these people where they fall below the belt. If Ambassador Boyka, the number that he got 2017, if that number come up in Lofa, I don't think we're going to maybe talking about this year. That we're going to be it will change the narrative. If you are pushed in the southeastern and ignore the fact, well, that George we are learning, you never do anything. I think that was a wrong strategy. You want it, you got to go for it. 1 or 2% that will be persuaded, your language, your tone, how are you going to do it? That did not happen. We are coming. Would that going to be like a no buffer zone again for them? Would they be waving a white flag? That has played there with no need for us to put resources. Do you think they want to go that route again?
No, I don't think so. I think they learn their lesson and follow more. Ambassador Bakai recognized, and he knows this, that Southeastern is part of Liberia. And so even if he's successful to become president, he will be president for all of us, not just people on the west or whatever side. So Southeastern need to be engaged and I mean, you know, give them the opportunity for those who perhaps have not seen you before or heard you talk about certain things, engage them and perhaps see what the result will be. But Mr. So, I think this upcoming election, this upcoming runoff, it's going to be an interesting one, though, because all of these 17, 18, participating in the presidential race will no longer be going to be there. However, if the trend that we saw in the October 10 election, if it stays like that, then I think Ambassador Bakar will not be in a better position, to so to speak, because if you take all of those people out, Southeastern, if you don't engage them to chip away President, we have vote from Southeast. If you don't engage the people in Grand Bassa County, okay, all of the, in fact, even in places like Nima, where he didn't get that much vote, but you want to chip away more out of that. So I think the Ambassador Bakar needs to show that yes, I'm confident in this upcoming election. The number will prove those things, but at the same time, I'm going to be the father of the nation, and I want you guys to give me your trust and let me make sure that we all get out of this thing as a rescue. As he stated before, he said, you're going to help us to rescue you. So if you continue with that positive message, I think he will do well. As far as President Weah is concerned, the vote against, not vote for Ambassador Bakar, but vote against President Weah, for me, is huge. The anger vote, I call it, is huge. So President Weah, I'm not too sure which way he's going to go at this time to try to resolve that, because there are many people right now that are angry. Now, his popularity from his days of soccer might be something that he might fall back on and perhaps try to get some leeway out of it. But the folks around him that are hated in Liberia, I don't know how he's going to redeem himself out of this. It's the folks that are around him more hated by many Liberians than the president himself. And I think they're trying to say, if we give him another 6 years, he will still hang with these people and they will do what the people are doing. They disregard for public property in terms of the usage and what have you. It's so glaring that people, even little baby that have no interest in politics, can see that this is not the right thing to do, but they do it anyway. So I think, Mr. So, it's going to be interesting to see which way Liberian going to be leaning this time around. I'm not in a position to predict. I'm not in a position to say who's going to win, but we will watch and see.
Okay, Sese, let me just bring you here and add a little bit layer on it based on things you do. You participated in elections and all of that. At this junction, this is where the money comes in to spend. Whether the money on that side, like here people do and all of that, whether it's going to resonate, that's a different thing. But the ability to have the resources to reach throughout the length and breadth, making sure your pool washer, in all of it, we have about 5,000 plus polling centers. I strongly believe they will still exist, except now they're going to be narrowed down. Do you have the resources to make sure you have people there? Not just any kind of person who is, oh yeah, I support you, but someone who strongly believes in your political ideology and will be there for you to make sure that the right thing is done. Is that possible? Or we are having this sort of quick anxiety now, just to pick up a little portion of what the liberal is saying? Okay, there were other people, and which is true, when you talk to people, there were other people say, you know what, I am not, even though I'm not for CDC, Oh, I voted for this senator, I'm not voting for this president. I voted for this person, I'm not voting for this person. Now it's being narrowed down with the two. So it's a matter of preference now. What should I be doing? Would there be an empathy on the part? And there were some other people who voted against the president, but the liberals said rightfully because of certain people. And I would not. And let me just say, especially with my view, there was an incident that took place. We were told about in Mount Gidi. All right. They were not making that decision because of X, Y, Z, not necessarily to the president, but other things that happened that is strongly believed. Those things are still there. Now, will those things cross over? Will it still affect the president? Or with the president now, there will be a sympathy or empathy kicks in. Okay, one or two presidents gone now. Let's see what happens. What would be the decision you think of the people?
So you know me before when I first showed up on this platform and when election started, I showed you my hand and I told you who I was supporting. Because I like to say stuff for people to be able to understand and see the lens through which I'm speaking, and they can choose to discount it based on what they already know about me, and I don't want to lie to our public. Having said that, before I answer your question, I just want everybody to know, people that follow LPR, that in round two,
people heard that before. I forgot.
I'm taking my time, my talent, and my resources to the rescue team. I'm going Joseph Boakai and Jeremiah Bankun. Now, having said that, because I want people to understand that, so going forward they can know when I say things.
That's your new political shelter.
Absolutely, I'm supporting in round two because LIBERIA matters, and 6 years of what we've seen, we cannot allow that to continue, and so I am, as of tonight, supporting Joseph Boakai and Jeremiah Bankun in round two. Now, having said that, in the first 2017 elections, everybody kept boasting about that here. If you give my brother a chance, Wilton, he will always say they won 15 or 14 counties and the man won one. Now you have a record.
Oh, thank you. All right, hold on one second.
Now you have a record. My internet was buffering.
Yeah.
Now you have a record you're running on. And you run on that record and you use state resources according to the European Commission. You use state resources and you run an election and you are neck to neck. I think Joseph Boakai and his team has a better chance, but there's a lot of work they got to do, and you and the Liberal have pointed out to that. Oh, some of the things you got to now remember is that there is only one senator who ran for re-election who has a long coattail that can say anything, and that's Prince Johnson. In Prince Johnson county, he carried a county with 100,000+ votes, and he carried Joseph Boakai with the same 100,000+ votes. If you come to Mosurado County and you see Sir Joseph got more vote in Mosurado County than Joseph Boakai and George Weah. So what that means is that there were people voting for Joseph for Sir Joseph that weren't willing to vote for the president. And that's in Mosurado County. And in the same Mosurado County, you're going to now start dealing with disgruntled seditions that just lost their job. I can't remember Moses Gray. Is he going to be able to go out and campaign with the same vigor in his district that he's just been on seated from? That is not going to happen. He will try to campaign, but he's not going to be as strong as it is. Josephine Davis, is she going to go back to District 10 and try to fight as she fought when she was on the ballot? That's not going to happen. We look at what happened in Foya. It's almost like Thomas Farah just wanted to win Foya, and that was about it. Well, he won Foya, but the president did not win Foya. So now, when Thomas Farah is not on the ballot anymore in Lofa County, and the likes of what's his name, Moneyback is not on the ballot anymore in Lofa County, and you don't have Tier 1 who won a lot of votes in Lofa County now on the ballot anymore, and now it becomes the narrative that's being shared around now is, can you do what Moneyback County did? This, I think, this election round 2 is the UPs to lose. If they become lazy, they will lose it. But I think they have the winds at their back because now you have the CDC celebrating going to round 2. That is not a tenable space to be in as a ruling establishment, especially in Africa.
So quickly before I go on the line, I thought they were all. So you mentioned something here, Ambassador Boakai, and I made it clear here. He needs to do what he did in 2017. Can he do that? So moving forward, should he go back to Lofa County and say, hey, we are traditional people. Maybe there were things I was supposed to do, I didn't do it. And I know one of the statements he made in the past was he was leaving Lofa. When he comes back, there will be a role. I talked to our guy who is based in Vanyama. That's something they didn't go back. Politicians that made mistakes, they don't realize, they speak, they talk carelessly. But should he go back and make his presence felt? If possible, stay in Vanyama until maybe before those results and before the entire process kick off. What extra do you think that he can do to change the narrative, to get Vanyama to, or not Vanyama, Lofa to do what it should be doing? Like,
Well,
name a day for me.
I mean, the CDC has put a lot of money in LOFA. Let's be very fair about that. The CDC has been targeting LOFA ever since 2017. They did a lot. But if you look at the data that came out of there, they were not competitive in Zaza district, in Salaye district, in Vonjama district. They were heavily concentrated in the Foya area.
Right.
Right. So for me, I really think that was just a strategy to get Thomas Fala elected. Because now, when Joseph Boakai goes back to Foya, it is no longer a fight between Joseph Boakai and what's his name and Thomas Fala for who owns Foya. Because Thomas Fala is not even on the ballot no more. Because initially, that's how Thomas Fala and his group turned that, and that was a good thing because they're fighting for Foya, right? But now you're no longer fighting for Foya. Thomas Fala would not even see you on the ballot. So do you have that much relevance? But he still needs to go back to Lofa. Joseph Boakai needs to go back to Lofa. He needs to go back to Nimba County because now imagine in a Nimba County where you no longer have Tewan Bonglo on the ballot. And you only have Jeremiah Kuhn and on the ballot with George Weah. Do you really think that Mr. Weah is going to get more votes in Nimba County than he got the last time around? I don't think so. Right. And so, but and this is what I'm keep saying, it's a strategy that they have to use. They have to go to the Southeast, like Mr. Toole said. We agree that the Southeast does not have a lot of numbers. The invited votes is more than sometimes even 3 counties in the Southeast put together. But if you are going to be the leader that is pushing unity, if you are going to be that leader that say, I'm the father of the nation, then you can't be saying some counties are too small for me to go to. And some counties, I'm just going to say, sorry to say this is the basket of deplorable that I'm not going to engage with. Like, you have to go there, and I know he didn't go to all of the counties, but he has to make an intention. And Jeremiah Kuhn went to some of those places, but they have to go. They have to make an intentional effort to go and tell the people we want your vote, and let the people tell you no, you don't get our vote. But it has to be intentional because you cannot be telling people that you want to preside over a unified Liberia when you just decide you will now go to a certain part of the country. Those people are still Liberians. Those people will be Liberians under your rule. Those people will pay taxes to you, and they deserve protection by your government. So you can't just write certain portions of the country off. So they need to go back to their strategy. The strategy they did with having people in many places, taking care of certain parts of the country worked, because that's the reason we don't have a one-round victory by the CDC. But they need to add more to that by getting Joseph Boakai himself in the Southeast and back to Lofa County.
Okay, let's go to the lines. Our guys is here. Wilton Keto support the CDC. The president, we are of the CDC-led government. Wilton, let me just bring you our counterculture and then Esther. Wilton, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So where is the racket role here for the ruling establishment? I mean, all of those guys, Joseph is not in the fries, the Fala is not in the fries, and other places. It's like putting 2 grown-up men in the Amagadi ring and say, hey, no match commissioner, no referee. Anyone who's strong, come out of that steel cage ring. It is what it is. Is there any reason why the CDC should be worried?
Well, I think it should be, either party should be worried at this point, because if you look at the percentage they are almost neck to neck. And one of the things that I think I heard Mr. Poe saying that about the president, don't forget the minister is still popular. He won the last election for like 400,000 this time. If you look at the number, it went up to like 700 or more thousand votes that he got. Now, not considering the invalid vote, but here's the thing. I think at this point, they should be building more bridges, like for the opposition, a little bit pressure. They should be connecting the ANC, tell Congo people, all the different groups that were once part of CDC, are also trying to lean not on the Unity Party side for whatever reason, we should start building those bridges now, so that come to serving the Liberians will speak with one voice. Don't forget, but we are still a popular person in the country. We got to perform generate that. You can speak from the side. Popular in the country, he would still take that chunk of vote that he already took, and maybe you take a little bit more. But as far as the southeastern region, boom, and I don't care except for that boy. I don't know what he's gonna do there, because those people are reached off. If you listen to what Prince Johnson said today, songs are recorded now were released. And they voted for their own. They didn't give they passed it down in his own word. So you might need to come out and vote for their son.
Okay,
but don't
thank
forget,
you.
President Weah is the son of Nima County too. So
you're quite to grant people citizenship. Okay, thank you
so
much.
How many counties they will be from?
Okay, I know from Basso, from Grand Gida, from Nima, from Maryland, from River G. Okay, thank you. So let me go to Kato, Esther, and then we have a strong defendant of the government on the land. So let's see what
Mr. So,
yeah.
Mr. So, can you hear me? Please, if you don't mind, can you please excuse me? I have to take a leave of you. And I would say thank you for the opportunity. And I hope I will be back here with you on Friday, where we will
Why are you sending to a consolatory here tonight?
Mr. So, you and CDC aren't ready for your year. After the election, then the glove going to be off. But right now, and you people have said this is a serious business. Liberia, we got to do what we have to do to make sure we put it in good hands. It's our country, so no more fighting. I will appreciate you, Mr. Cesar Goya. Thank you very much for your smartness, and we appreciate it. Mr. Soul, you as a good moderator, the best moderator of ever, and the best CEO. We appreciate you, and we will see you on Friday, sir. Thank you very much, and good night.
He gave me say with straight face.
Yeah, you did. You been here, good night, the liberal. I will see you. Okay, Tia, let's do it here quick. I think before we go, we get 5 minutes. Contra, go ahead. Your last point.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. So, my last point has to do with this. Well, if we get into it, which I know we might get to that level. It's really going to be challenging. Why am I saying this?
Challenging to who now?
But yeah, it's going to be challenging in the sense that many of these voters that we saw for the first round might not be going for the second round. Reason being, there were a lot of these people who were running as representatives and senators. They transported people from one end to another just to have that vote.
Right.
And they might not be probably in the position of transporting these people back. I'm saying this because we had this same experience in 2011 when we started even trying to see how we could, locate these people to go back again to vote for Eddie at the time. It was not an easy thing. And we're seeing, as you can see, that the European Union have already discovered that the sitting president has the resources to go about doing these things. And, that is what edge he has. So it takes the mind of the Liberians to know that whether they are willing to make these sacrifices, if not, we leave it back in the hands of the very people that we don't want them to be blessed with.
Okay.
You can see, for typical example, what is happening now. They have not even left power. Most of the ministers have already been looted. How is the next person coming in to handle the situation?
You say being looted?
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Hold on 1 second. You say being looted. I don't want to inject different things. You say being
Yes, we have been getting report that some of the ministers are already looting their offices, some director and some director are looting their offices.
Taking what?
That they take computers, taking all, office, material are there.
Okay.
So It's credible because I know I have friends working for some of these institutions and they give out credible information and even uh, like photos and what have you. So it's very heartbreaking,
Okay.
and this is something that people have been doing. We know how the country have been run, and having the country to go back into this process really going to be a hard broken.
Okay.
I know
Thank you
many
so
of
much.
our people are just supporting a candidate or president or this president because of love of football. But we have to go beyond that. It's not only the football. We see the level of our country today, where it is. Even from this voting process, to see a number of invalid votes, it shows that our country is actually not growing. And I heard Kenneth saying that they had a
In 30
full-time,
seconds, so I can go to the
yeah.
next photo, wrap it up.
And by this time, the number has grown. Of course, it's going to grow because the population is growing. And as the population grows, you will see the number of voters voting will increase. So we should expect all of these things. These are all factors.
Okay.
I really don't know. People say that they hate the man, they hate the man. I really love Leah. It's just that he's just not the person right now to take control of our government, our country.
Thank you so much. Let me go to Esther quickly here, but associate after Hassan, and then Cecile will wrap it up. Esther, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
What could be the observations? What could be the doubt? Who you think going to get advantage and disadvantage? And I think Koto, she mentions something, especially there's advantage and disadvantage part two on the southeastern when it comes to the president that votes traditionally, whatever, considering the rural conditions. Some people are stay there. Will they stay there now? We don't know the time for the 10 days. Those that came, they have to wait. Will they go back again? People getting on motorbike from Ganta to Grand Judea to Maryland to Sino. That's another cloud that hangs over the entire process as well. This is what we're going to see political. That's what we're going to see the commitment comes in. We don't know. We'll see the movement of the people when the time comes is too soon. What's your take?
So I think there will be more challenges this time around because, as one of the speaker here said, that our people will go to different districts to register because they love that representative. They will vote for that person, and now they can go back to that district or to that city to vote again. So, we will not see the same numbers that we're seeing. And from the station that I'm seeing, I think people will also vote on travel line. Some people will vote on travel line because this person is from a place, whether they're doing good in office or they're not doing good, we will just accept the person and vote for them. And like for example, for FOIA, President Weir is not on the ballot anymore, and you can see the number that Mr. Fala had, and the number that President Weir had. That shows that they were voting for their son. The same thing with Nema. If you take Jeremiah Kuhn out of Nema and just put Honorable Baka there, you will not have that numbers. So people going to vote because the person is from their county. That trust me, that's something I'm looking at. The people from the southeastern region will do the same thing. They will vote for Weir because he's from Nassau. And as you also said, I think when the president, Honorable Baka, if he wins, he'll be president for everybody. You can just now go to the other side, and maybe because the numbers they're not enough. But at this time, you need to get out there and those people who they have on social media, they both UP and the CDC, always fighting other political parties and stuff. This is not a time for it. The time of spreading rumors, people doing this, people doing that. It's time to build bridges now. Reach out to people, talk to them, what you can do, what are the plans and stuff. But most of them, from the beginning of these elections, like the CPP, in the UP, all these things that they pass through. I don't know if they can fix it right now. That's something that they will have to work on. But at the end of the day, Liberia is first, and we're hoping that our people will be educated more in this voting. That's what I have to say.
Okay.
Another thing I want to add, I'm not sure if they could add this in our school curriculum that will educate these people about the law for country, about voting, and all these things that they need to know. And because if a child knows how to vote, if they come, even their mother don't know, they will teach their mother. So that's something like that. Yeah. But thank you so much.
I think you are being celebrated by the professor himself because that's his area here. Okay, this net Sissy is cheering you up here with applause.
Okay.
So I think your credit score gone perfect here. And I know, Sissy, I'm sorry, we are actually over the time. Hold on one second. We always don't leave voices behind. We don't decide who to call, who not to call. It's about the country. I'm not talking about my house. We're not talking about Sissy personal home. So we are discussing about the country. So sometimes people get in feeling. But on the line from Washington, D.C.'s area is Kev Hassan, the deputy spokesperson of the CDC in the diaspora. That's what I like in. Kev, good evening.
Good evening.
My man, no flower here today.
How you guys doing? I'm so kind of discouraged that Mr. Goya went the other way. I expect him.
You should have placed a phone call to him long time before he made that pronouncement. You get a number.
I don't see him in an alliance with Prince Johnson though. No.
Why were you call Prince Johnson?
I will never ever, put my money on this. Oh, this man will go to Prince Johnson. But now seeing and Prince Johnson in the same alliance, wow.
Oh my goodness. Okay, quickly here. Let's talk.
Leave me with your Prince Johnson talk about. That's not a thing.
Okay, so Kev, let's talk quick business here. You made a prediction here the other day. It seems to be, I don't know whether I got it right or Sissy got it wrong. Who said? Who was on the wrong side of history?
On the election on the first round.
Yeah, you made a prediction the other day.
Yes, that's what we hope for when we go into election to win first round. Unfortunately,
that didn't
happen. But that's what we hope for.
Wait, Kev, did you see that what you hope for?
Not go there for second round. You go there
to no, my Kev, give me actual data.
Everything we look at, from our war room and on the field and everything. We'll look at first round.
Okay.
But as to say, invalid votes came up and all the other factors, so it goes to the second round. But one thing I want to address before we go there, let me address. I want to offer Sis Kotu to any of her charity and $1,000 if she can prove that office will picture and will check it and fact check it, and I'll make sure I check it at any government offices where people taking computer, leaving, and all that. Because I know she got it from Stanton, because Stanton said it, so they believe it. That's their God. But I will offer her $1,000 to any of her charity if she can produce photo, and let go to. I will check the ministry, and I will call on to that ministry. We'll do that. I will get Mr. So or Mr. Goya. We will check it and see if anything taken. If that's true, I will give $1,000 to any of the charity. But I will tell you, it's a lie. That's not true. That's part of propaganda. Nobody taking things for no offices. That's not true. The same lie that they said that people went at SKD, or Molu went at SKD. SKD, There's offices there, Ministry of Youth and Sport get office in SKD. So who will go there at night? What are they going to do there? They have all this conspiracy thing that go into people's head. And I said this on your show. After this election, when this president win, all those kind of things will go away. That show like you guys show will surface and people will speak the truth. Because we cannot have that. I said it on Freedom Today FM. The level of misinformation that they put into our people's head, it's going to take a very serious time to change
But
our people's mind. Seriously.
Kev, when it comes to misinformation, freedom is also is a reservoir of throwing things out there as well. Fair to say that?
Of course.
Well, if you
You made a mess up.
some of the misinformation you see, then we can talk about it. But I just point out the misinformation that Miss Kotu got from a former station, and she talking about it. So I just want, because for me, I would just put something down and let's go and let's have that debate, that fact check it, because that's not true. They say a lot in a country. They have their own neck, which is my former station. That's where they get it resolved. Everything they get it from there. Everything you say, and that is the problem. So I feel like we should go past that. If you bring anything other stations say that, we can deal with that. We can talk about it.
Well, we can't confirm. One second.
I want to show you a proof. I don't want us to argue on.
Hold on 1 second.
No, I stick to your charity, not gamblers. I will give 1,000 to end up your charity.
I never told you I had charity.
Okay, guys, hold on 1 second.
And the next thing is, even granted in Liberia, that is stop on the thing he's granted.
Okay, but
remember,
what's that? Hello. Koto, I come in 1 second, please. Hold on 1 second.
And granted in Liberia, I don't hear on DNC and they say.
Hold on 1 second. Hello. This game of politics against a lot of raw edges. So, you say something, the president, we don't want to be like this president. I mean, he's throwing out there, you have the right, but I think Sissy wanted to come. And again, this is not why she's an analyst here. This is not LPR. We will follow through. We will check. We cannot validate this to say there's anybody looting. There are a lot of information always coming out, but we always try to validate information before we announce it. We're not just breaking it. But I think Sister wanted to ask Kev something. You wanted to ask Kev, or you wanted to say something?
Kev, when you asked the question about Freedom FM, and Kev said we should put something in his place and then we can discuss it. So I want to go back to announcing election results. As Freedom FM, from Paulita Wee days of running and Thomas Fala days of running, ever announced election results that came back to not be truthful?
I was on spoon, so I don't have that information.
Okay.
Man, this guy.
Okay, man, just make sure now 1,000 you betting. Just make sure that 1,000 you betting. When you share there, become 52%.
No.
I will give you one proof. I'm not just coming to say something here. I got my proof.
And she thinks she granted Liberia. I'm granting Liberia even more than her.
But you different ministries. I'm not talking about you.
Hello. We're not gonna. Okay, hold on. We're not gonna do that. So do me a favor, Kev. Do me not Kev. I'm not gonna focus on it. I'm not gonna focus on that. This I come in. Kev. 1 second, please. So Koto, do me a favor. If you have anything, if you wish to share with us in the group or share it, then we can have it
at my own appointed time.
Okay, then we can have it.
It's not kept going to tell me getting 1,000. Like I think I want to go who's looking for a bribe or
okay, so what we're gonna do? Let's table that. There are a few things.
I know.
There are a few things I'm out of time here, and there are a few things I wanted to get out of Kev here since he come in. So let's table that when we have the evidence, something in your hand, then he, as a spokesperson, we can bring him here and say, hey, this is it. Maybe that donation can kind of help you out. Nobody don't give anything. Says, what do you think? Like,
well, I agree, especially.
I said, hey, Morel, they looking for hospital.
Yeah, but especially Kev get small thing for me now. Send a message like, I'm going to win 52% in win. They get us small out into LPR.
Can't get free money. I'm not getting free money.
Let's go there. Okay, let's back to the conversation. Okay, Kev.
Yes.
Usually it's a good sport. You need that thing.
Yeah, we just kidding. We don't want to put it. Let's get back to the conversation. Out of 2018 gone, 2 down. We're hearing it's now the president and ambassador boycott. Kev, what is happening within the CDC? Why was that celebration for? Was that a celebration of it being a runoff or CDC? So say, okay, now it's among 2 of us now. This is what we wanted to see happen.
You talking about what happened in at the headquarters?
No, I'm talking about generally. I'm talking about the most likely it's a runoff. We're waiting for the official announcement.
No, you're talking about celebration. What celebration you're talking about?
Yeah, from the headquarters. Yeah, at the headquarters. You know what?
No, you see, a lot of people don't know. It was not a celebration. It was bringing our folks together and get our folks together to get back into that energy and go back out there. It's not. We're not celebrating we want to win. We had our winning game plan, so we're ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Ready and go back.
Yeah,
so, but
Mr.
Goya was talking about the Goya talking about Nimba. You gotta look at the number that come out of that 2 county. But let me say this to you: is one of the reasons that Joe Bucker in the race today? It's not because he's strong. It's because of one of our alliance, which is the MDR, that Prince Johnson what he wanted, something for himself that he couldn't get, and decided to go away to break away and help the Unity Party. If MDR was still with us, we're talking something different. So minus MDR.
This seems to be a regret for within the CDC.
Wait. Minus the MDR, right? Look at Booker and see what he will be today. You know, because who said he gave? I think Mr. Mali said he gave credit. Minus MDR. Watch what Booker will be today. So there's no credit for him. He doesn't have it.
So Kev, are you politically hurt of the departure of MDR?
Is it minus just MDR alone or plus your record that you got to?
The mathematician is there on the show. We're just doing one of although it's not my era, but I'm just saying that. So we'll look at the strength of the Unity Party that will come into the election. Remember, they just break away like less than a couple of months ago. Just a couple of months ago. So what was the Unity Party will depend on to win this election? All that mouth the Unity Party were making, nothing. So that's why I'm surprised that Mr. Goya saying that he would support Joe Bucker. So he probably sleeping with he probably will be in bed with the devil as Joe Bucker says. So Joe Bucker win this election is to sleep with the devil.
Okay.
And I think we are people who trying to support him to look into that. You know, that's why I'm kind of surprised that
what is okay quickly here.
Please take care to leave me alone. I'm only choice I finished making.
Okay. Quickly, Kev, if you wish to tell, you can. If not, you can plead the fifth. What is the challenge going into the second round with CDC, with Unity Party, CDC? Is there anything? Do you see any challenge?
You know, one of the challenge that we're going to face, but it's a challenge that is not for the CDC, it's for the good people of Liberia, is this tribal politics that I'm seeing come from the Unity Party. Oh, the Southeast voted for us, so you say you voted. No, no. So everybody in politics, you do have your stronghold. In America, you get your stronghold. It's not
the same tribal stronghold.
Stronghold.
Okay.
So even in your state that you live in, they do have Democrats a stronghold and Republican stronghold.
Okay.
But when they go into that tribal politics, it becomes a challenge for everybody, all of us, because we know what that can take us. Because you're going to put this tribe versus this tribe. I don't know if you're listening to Prince Johnson recent tape.
So
that's
we
the
are
challenge.
extremely.
Just ask if the stronghold in the Southeast is not based on tribe. So
we are strongly out of time here, but let me just ask you: will we see the president taking a tour again around the country in fight of his political career?
The president will campaign. Sure, the president will campaign, but the team who in Monrovia will announce, but the president will come out. The president will speak to his people.
No, I mean, will he campaign across? Will he campaign cross country? That's what I'm asking.
Well, when the president, as we speak right now, the folks, our team there, if they're doing the planning, will come out, you guys will see it.
Is that yes to my answer to my question?
What I would say, the president will campaign, but when the itinerary come out, you will see it. But the president will campaign.
Okay,
he will come out.
All right, let us know when it kicks off so that we'll have our idea. Okay, what's this? Is that the same number? Yeah, see 203-2578. Is that a new number?
I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, we'll come and go. Okay,
well,
guys.
That's
thank you.
Then.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Okay, thank you so much,
Thanks,
folks. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Wilton.
Okay, let's wrap it up here before I take off here. This seems to be it is not all over. Then we thought it's over in terms of campaigning and I call it the entire process here. What needs now? You pick a side already, right? You're going to be supporting the train.
Yeah.
And you are bold-faced guy. You say it for which sometimes you and your Gonglo friends used to you can get in there. So I don't know how they're going to receive you. What are they going to take heeds from you or all of that? But what should they be doing now? I still hearing people not getting the message they're supposed to be saying. This sort of gaming thing is still there because there are some people saying things that still create sort of doubt in the voters, which could have the propensity and make them to stay away, because all you need to do now to energize your base. Look, we just started a race. You need to go out there. You need to encourage them. You need to find them. You need to know who your trusted voters are. Well, we saw this huge, massive, invalid vote. We need to figure out and perhaps go beyond the election commission to create some sort of extra awareness. Do you think both parties, be it the CDC or the Liberty Party, how sure are we that even we're going to get that number of votes again? Now, the senators, the representatives, they are no longer there. When people registered in their various counties, they left different localities to go and vote with. These people go by there. So there are a lot of components factor kicking into this thing here. I don't know who we're going to disadvantage and who we're going to advantage when these elections, this second round of is held. So what should we be looking out for?
Historically, runoff elections usually have a little bit lower turn of voters than the regular elections. So that's just a given. And now you put that in a situation where some of the things that Cotto was trying to describe about voters that were trucked by all political parties into certain places, and maybe they were trucked in some instances by representative candidates and senatorial candidates, and those people, they're done, right? And now they're not responsible for you. Are they going to pay? Are they going to be responsible to truck those people back? Are they going to have the appetite to want to even engage that much? Are they going to be stuck celebrating their wins? Now, mind you, there are a few heavyweights that have been unseated, especially in the House, right? The Speaker is not going back. Akaras Gray is not going back. And these are, so would these candidates be overjoyed and just celebrating and forget to go out there and campaign and route their people back to vote for the top of the tickets? And so those are things that built to our.
You need a question just to are they popular in their constituents?
There you go.
What's the message you're going to be taking?
So you have a Nathaniel McGill who's won hands down in Margibi County. Is he going to be out with the same zest and the same energy in round two? We don't know. So those are the things. Those are all of the variables that the political parties, both the ruling establishment and the Unity Party, have to look at. Because now you're right. This whole thing about people, and you know me, I will call it like it is. I can support you and still hold you to account. This whole thing that is out there about Unity partisans asking for recount is a waste of time. It's a waste of resources. I think based on the number of invalid votes, you already know that there's not going to be one political party that was going to win a one-round victory. If all you want to boast about is to say we got more votes in round one, going to round two is not a necessary thing. It's a moot point. I think now what people need to do is first allow your partisans to celebrate like you're doing right now to enjoy the win, but their celebration has to be cut short, especially so people are celebrating for the unseating of the speaker and other places. Bill Terway got elected and all these other people. Yeah, people put their hard work into it. Let them celebrate, but the celebration should be tempered and there should be a quick turnaround into strategy. Into now, how do we make sure that we energize our people to come out, knowing fully well that not everybody's going to come out. Because this is round two. Most people don't have the appetite to go back again and stay in line for round two. Most people don't have the appetite to go stay again and be waiting for people to count their ballots by flashlights. So a lot of these people, a lot of the voters are not going to show up. How do you energize your base to get them out, to get a majority of the people out? How do you get these senatorial candidates that are now senators or that lost their elections to now retreat into, oh, I'm feeling bad. I spent a lot of my money. Like, for example, Wilmer P. in Masorata County. He didn't come even close to South Joseph. Is he going to be as excited to stay come out and campaign knowing that he lost the senatorial seat? So those are all of the things, all of these two political parties have to start looking at and see how they're going to get their people out and how are they going to make sure that their people are energized to get out and vote. But I'll tell you this, any political party that's able to do that, that's able to get out maybe even 80 to 90% of their voters out, you don't need to build a coalition, you will win, because the voter apathy in round two in most elections is very palpable. So I think the celebrations are just way too much. People just need to hurry up and get past it and start getting ready for round two.
To start getting ready for round two, which camp is more nervous as we push towards this runoff politically? Who going to be to their disadvantage?
Well, round two with a sitting president should be worrisome to the ruling establishment. When you won hands down in 2017, and if you did well for 6 years, this should not be a runoff. But now, having said that, Joseph Boakai and Unity Party knows that if they lose this election, that is it. Right, and so this is going to be a fight. Both groups, I want to believe and I want to be transparent, are nervous, and they should be, because George Weah needs in the next 6 years to solidify his legacy, right? And Joseph Boakai needs to unseat him for what we all believe for a turnaround of the country. So both of them should be nervous. If any one of them is not nervous, then they're not deserving of winning the presidency in round two.
In the interest of our country, I'm going to give you 60 seconds, 30 for Unity Party, 30 for the CDC. But if you can choose to say, you know what, I don't want to go this year. If you are providing counsel to any of the campaigns right now, and let me start with Unity Party, because you are already laying your support, which of course you may have present, what should be their focus? And I'm concerned, most of these networks, some of the network, we listen to their tone, we listen to their soundbite, we know the direction to which they are pivoted, we know the direction in terms of their support here. Should they change their talking point, or should they still create those sort of unnecessary conspiracy with the purpose of thinking they are energizing, but they are not being very truthful to their base? Is it time that they should redirect their tones in order to give a voter a clear sense of direction, to say, hey, This is the last and final deal that we are about to cut. This is what you need to do.
So I don't know how people, because in elections, especially in this country, when the polls are even showing one candidate leading, that candidate most time will always try to pretend like they're the underdog. Because
right.
being an underdog is a good thing going into elections most time, because most people root for the underdog. So even if, you know, when the polls are showing that this person is leading, they'll be like, yeah, don't mind the polls, you know, they still want you to come out. And so I think right now the Unity Party should be saying, look, the CDC edge us by popular vote. They got more popular vote right now, at least according to NEC data right now as we have it, more popular vote than the Unity Party. You need to come out. This thing is not for joke. You got to come out. You need to come out and vote. If this thing goes the same way between CDC and us, we might not win. That's how you get people nervous to come out, because they know that, oh, the people got more people, got to go out. But if you pretend like this thing is in the bag, you got it in the bag, and then you make a lot of the people go, well, but they don't need my one vote. We already got it. And then the next person said, but they don't need my one vote. And then gradually a lot of people sit at home, and that's how people
start getting 200-300 votes cutting short. Right.
That's how people lose elections. And so I think there should be a pivot to the narrative. We did well, but we didn't do as much as we wanted. You can see CDC still got more votes. We still need people to come out. That is how you utilize that. And you get your people out, you get people energized and say, we need you to put us over the hump. We were close, we didn't get there. The CDC, if it was just us and the CDC in the election, they would have been re-elected. We can't have that happen. You can't have that happen. You need to come out, and vote. That is the message. The other piece is this unnecessary argument on the internet about, you know, between some elements in the Unity Party and some elements in the ANC has to stop. It would not benefit the Unity Party. The ANC is now going to round two, but you need their vote, or at minimum, you need them to stop opening up new front lines. You can't be fighting on multiple front lines. It doesn't make sense. So some of these things you got to pivot. You got to reach out to people and try to talk with them and try to talk to them and listen to them. And to the extent where they refuse to come on board, you don't attack them. You pivot. When they say stuff, you pivot from it. You going back and forth does not make sense. So this is some of the things I'm saying, and I'm hoping, you know, as time goes by, cooler heads will prevail, and they will pivot the conversation to why Josiah Nyambwaka needs to be elected, and why people need to join the train that weren't on the train before, and why it's important for Liberia that Josiah Nyambwaka get elected. Sitting over there and calling people, you know, their numbers small like Res Green does not support you. And you have to be reaching out to seditions. You can't be calling them tiny seditions. It's disrespectful. It's despicable. You cannot write out the Southeast and say the Southeast belongs to George Weah. We can't do that. We can't have this tribal politics, because then you might win a nation that is divided. And you have to spend a lot of your time trying to unify the people versus spending that time on trying to provide them the necessary development and access to healthcare and education that you promised them. And so I think and I hope that the message will pivot, and that people will be out there talking to people about why it is that they need them to vote for their candidate. That we have Kev come on the show. I like that. Kev comes and talks about his candidate. We joke about it. That's what it's supposed to be. We talk about who we support and how our people should go out to support. It should not be vitriolic. It should not be acidic. It should not be us insulting one another, because then the people who listen to us take that. And then the problem becomes very acrimonious at the polls and on the streets. So I think if I were ever in a position where Unity Party listens to me, that would be my message to them: is how are you pivoting? How are you getting ready to lead a unified country? As far as what advice I give to CDC, I'm sure CDC has a lot of very smart people. Kev Hassan was just out here, and I think they have enough opportunity to espouse those ideas.
Legendary Sister Goyard. Let's see here. So this is the unknown politician that cut through the corridor to get us to be where we are. This Appleton guy, the grassroots movement, nobody pay attention to, nobody was watching their surrounding. Here we are, and it becomes like a wandering stranger. Where he coming from? He took our vote. They took our vote. George Weah, Joseph Boyka, who you think now plays a first call to Appeton, the deal breaker?
Wait, Appeton get phone. But on a serious note,
oh my goodness, don't do this to us.
Honestly, my internet is acting up. I was joking. I say, does Appleton have a phone, and does anybody know his phone number? But look, I watched that video over and over. I keep laughing because there are always anomalies in elections, and that's just one of those pieces. But I will tell you this though, my prayer ever since the elections is changed. I've always been asking God to give me the favor of Appleton. Because that man came from zero and became an instant celebrity.
You remember the Nana guy? What his name said?
The rent is too high. That Nana
guy. Republican Nana. You saw how he was.
The guy from Godfather Pizza, the late what's his name?
What his name said?
He was going to write everything on the mattress box. The whole tax code is going to be Nana.
Nah.
The late Godfather Pizza. His name is skipping me right now.
Hammer something. That just
but I think to political pundits out there and to political scientists at the University of Liberia, many universities in Liberia, I think they need to start collecting data and try to really analyze what's the Appeton effect, what happened, because those are things that our people need to study, because this was an anomaly. And Herman King, thank you, Isaac.
Herman King. Somebody read it right. Herman King Harris, thank you so much. Herman King.
This is an anomaly that we need to look at. What went wrong or what went right? Did this guy go to all of the debates? Because I'm thinking maybe he benefited from the debates. I don't know, but the scientists have to look at that and see, what are the factors that led to that. But I have to give him congratulations. He got a bang for his bucks, however much money he spent on his campaign. And I think what people are ignoring though is that we saw a lot. We're seeing a lot of videos coming out about Appeton, and it's like this guy was running like a Jew in his campaign. He was doing
the thing. He said he was not focusing. One of them said he was not doing internet business.
He was actually connecting with people.
Do you think was it strategically placed into this thing here by whom and where this whole thing came from with this Appeton effect here? Nobody saw this coming. Out of this sudden, it just overshadowed everything, and everybody like bossing now. Our own Esther saying here, he took, I don't know which vote, is that an ANC vote you're talking about, or Joseph Boyka, or Tiawon Gonglo, or who, to multiple people. Nobody saw this guy coming. Was his pressing into this race, was his a strategic one and nobody makes sense of it at all?
I think anyway, after all the jokes settled, there needs to be some serious academic conversations with Appeton, like invite him to speak at places and what he did. Because here's the thing, even for us in the LPP movement, that we didn't put a lot of our stuff on the internet and fighting on the internet. We actually got Tiawon Gonglo out to do kind of like what Appeton were doing, right? Going to villages, going into places that other people were not going, and having these interactions. And to see this guy get this much votes when he didn't even put half of as much money as we put in LPP and as much places that we went. I don't know. I know. For me, I like to study things, and I think this is something that's worth it, of actually picking this guy's brain, just talking to him and just understanding what was the process, because there's something to be learned from here. There is something other candidates can learn from here to win representative seats, to win senatorial seat without spending a lot of money, because this dude got a lot of votes. And all jokes aside, he got a lot of votes. Whether it was by proximity, some people say it's by proximity because he was number one next to Joseph Boyka, and the people just marked down. Other people say, oh, because his vice presidential candidate also look like Arizona Cummings, and he got a near Arizona C, and all of these theories are coming out. But I think unless we talk to Mr. Appeton, actually listen to him and try to get a glimpse on stuff, and it will be difficult for us to determine what really happened.
Legendary Sister Goya, thank you so much. And the conversation continues. It looked like the real conversation will start now when the official announcements are made. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Have a good night.
All right. Well, folks, that's the fight of the executive mansion, not the political fight. It's quite interesting, and I will be monitoring to see what is happening. Yes, the mystery politician, the known politician, how it happens. This is a guy, Appeton, the unknown politician. He came to really change the whole landscape of the politics in Liberia. I want to thank all of you so much for your time this evening, your comments, your tweets, your suggestions, your criticisms, your opinions, your views. This is what we do here at on LPR. We do not leave no one behind. Every voice is mattered. To our senior contributors, our analysts, we say thank you so much for your sacrifice, and those of you that call in, and even those of you online tweeting this morning, this afternoon, this evening, depending on your location. It is for the love of your country, not to wash out necessarily, but you want to know what is happening within your country. And this is something we need to be keeping eyes on. When we're having this conversation, we must have a civil national conversation. It doesn't matter when a person is a sedition, unity partisan, liberty partisan. Let's listen to their ideas and see what makes sense that we feel is applicable to the country. And I was just saying this because part of what happens today, yes, NEC National Election Commissions is the institutions responsible to create the civil education to the electorate. However, I don't care how you turn it, the stakeholders, they ought to have shared responsibility. Talking about a civil society, they are all more or less compromised or having ties with this political institution. So that's the problem. So you who looking for you got to find it. And part of finding it is to educate the people. You have an election, you are a political party, not just a social club. You are unable, or you send your pool washer out there and you can't even maintain them for 1 or 2 days. You're telling them go when you get there, then we'll send you mobile money. Seriously? I should leave Morovia, go to Riverside. When I get there, then you send $50 or $25. When some of these people, they have families at home, and you think that when they go, they can be compromised by financial violence by any other person. Those things, come on, it happens. It comes with commitment and sacrifice, and moreover, financial resources. If you don't have it, then I find it very difficult as to how you're gonna do it. Let's tell you, in the last time around, the election with Hillary Clinton and that of Donald Trump, even though she was whipped, in the last round, 192 million the last week from the Clinton campaign, the machinery, the superpower, Priority USA. Even at that, they were defeated. What happens if you don't have it? You send somebody away to refugee, they may get 3, 4 children, or sometimes the woman is pregnant. Then you say go to refugee, then I was sending you the mobile money, and you expect the person to do a correct tally sheet marking. You know what the law he's gonna meet up with there. You know what Jesus is gonna come in his way. I'm just being realistic. So if you do not fight for a cause, I'm not talking about physical fight, but if you do not fight for your cause and prioritize what need to be prioritizing, we are hearing some of those people, the money. There were a lot of people did fundraiser here in the name of these different political party. We're doing this, we're doing that. At the end of the day, it didn't go where it's supposed to go. I know that's a different story we're going to hear then in the interim at some point in time. But if you can't fight for a cause, and if you can't pay people for their services, and you're going to be consistently telling people God will bless you, people being blessed from day one they were born. In the future, no future. We are already in the future. So when he or she goes out there, whatever he or she finds, that's exactly what they're going to deal with. And we have heard that story over and over. Some big political parties, They sent people out there. Other people got, other people didn't get anything, and they was telling them, oh, we will send it after you. And even when they send what was promised, that wasn't fulfilled. You put that person that at risk. You have to make that person to be compromised, because when he or she gets any offer from any of the other challengers, definitely may get 2, 3, 4 children, woman pregnant, no food. You think you're going to wait? Say, oh, when Joy we are get elected, I will send you to LPRC, or when Boyka get elected, you will go to what, MPA? When 300-400 US come, that you tally sheet, water can carry it, and you will have your own to blame. So it is a sacrifice. It's not just people sitting down on platform and talk blah blah. We win. When you are not even investing into the rightful people, it's not all about it. Calling winning will win, pronouncing it is just a simple word that you can call in less than a second. But it has to be manifested into actions, and part of that is to have people in the 5,080 plus polling center. If you become selective, oh, I will send people in Maserati, Riverside, and not anything. Sano that play too far. We don't want to get on motorbike. Okay, you don't want to get on motorbike. Those who got on motorbike, they will get what they get, and you can't. And then you want to blame election commission. These are all responsibilities it comes with as being part of a leader. You know it. You are getting into the game. You need to have a short-term and long-term goal. These people you're sending, they must be not just anybody you grab because they wear a t-shirt. Know who they are. Know their history, their political ideology when it comes to the very party they profess to be. Talk to them. Their willingness, their sacrifice, that even if it requires them to stay extra 2-3 days, they can do that. And then you send it. And you're not just only sending them, empower them. Charge their phones. Make sure they're carrying smartphone. Not phone with crocodile face. Not phone that can be bapping your eye. You put it on, you gotta go in the light show it to see whether you can see the screen to even dial a number. You have to keep in touch with them. How many of you created some sort of group text getting in touch with your voters? You don't even know your voters. You can't even tell precisely how many people that you know or you show of that voting for you in a particular town, county, or even district, because you don't have a database. You go your dance, you have fun time, and people come to celebrate, and you assume that because those people turn out, that will translate into vote. It doesn't work that way. That's just a mere exception in your mind. Oh, we have these people and that's want to go. People go there to observe, to see different. You need to have people in other places to talk to those people in the crowd. You insult people, lack political tolerance. You disagree with everybody without telling them why make you to disagree with them. And you expect people just going to vote for you because you. It doesn't work that way. Be tolerant, be patient, convince people. And sister say, hey, who told you there are some seditions who don't want to cross over? Who told you there are some Unity Party people who doesn't want to cross over? I don't know whether it is true, but I saw it from Calabar, people making lays way ahead before the game could even start. Why you doing? You alienate. There are other people who are working hard. If they don't see themselves in the fire, how do they feel? That's just dangerous. Lack of political tolerance. Sit down on network and just talk and shout empty mouths. Empty. No strategy. Everybody butting heads. Go into those towns. Be visual in your communication. Let them see you with picture, not just only talking. I'm not sure what I still want some things to say. Can you text me if there's something specific you want to say? Just text me. I will just wrapping up. But again, we say we don't need, we are so much concerned. We want to make sure, just text me a number if you want. If you just text me, yes, maybe there's something you want to pull up. Probably you are driving, that's why you didn't come on. So if you want to do that, just let me know, then I will let you know. But that's a problem that we are having. Everybody, they hear somebody's voice and then they get in their feelings. Seriously? We are not talking about your house. If we're talking about your house, then you have all reason to get mad. We are talking about a country. That's the Republic of Liberia. Everybody has the right to associate. Let me just see. Guys, just bear with me, please. Yeah, I mean, people always like to just blame people. People just want to be. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. All right. People just want to blame people. Yeah, I know the election commission is supposed to do their job. But what happened to all this auxiliary that they have in their party? This group, this chairman, this woman rule. Part of that, the standard bearer cannot reach in every village or town. It is you that believes in that person will enhance the person message. But you get on program, you get on the program to educate or inform the people. You take 1 hour 45 minutes and talk about somebody bad behavior, what they did, what they didn't do, and then you take 10 minutes of that, your 2 hours about the candidate. You first of all talk about yourself. Then you divide that into half before you talk about the candidate. So what are listeners? What are they taking away? It becomes convoluted. You confuse people. You talk about somebody who the person that you're not voting for. You use all of your time instead of offering the ideas, the developmental agenda, the person healthcare plans, the infrastructure, how they intend to improve education, agriculture. Every country that cannot sustain herself, you fall. We know what happened to the great Soviet Union. Soviet Union collapsed because it was a country that could not feed herself. But part of the reason we are having all of this is Liberian loves entertainment. Creole men say people will labo talk. They just talk empty. They have gone all around. They are affiliated with all of these parties. They go so it doesn't work. They come so and they turn to be a newborn person, an old wine in a new bottle. Tomorrow when they start flipping up on you, then it becomes a surprise. Oh, I didn't know. Yes, you knew it, but you play blind eye. The left party 1 to party 2, party 3, you did not ask them because you wondered them. These people, they are not committed. They do not believe in political ideology. And you allow them, you accommodate them. Some of them came, they caused trouble in your party. You do not have the guts to even tell them what you are doing, your actions, your decisions does not represent our party. No politicians in Liberia are willing to take a political risk because they do not want to lose a vote. The late John McCain went in a crowd and a rally, and somebody says something that does not represent his party, his campaign. And he took the microphone. He said, no, this is not who I am. But you have people who you're surrogate, they're cursing people, they're abusing people, they've been very condescending, they've been very divisive, they make some reckless statement. You, the leader, you didn't say anything, nobody called them to a book, no apologies. Traditionally, that's the typical Liberian politician. They never apologize. They are very defiant in their argument. They gave multiple justifications. It was done 2002. Nobody talked. I'm doing it now. Why should somebody talk? And they want to blame the system. Everybody corrupt. Everybody corrupt. You know you entitled to one vote, and you deliberately want to cheat and rob other people because you want to vote multiple times. So you need to blame yourself as well, not just only the election commission. The dishonesty is just from the bottom to the top. Until we can bleach ourselves, until we can have that new sense of renewal, that what we are doing, are we hurting or are we helping the country? Until we can honestly answer those questions as a people, as a nation, and that we can make informed decisions. But see what is happening in the media world today. Some other people, they're telling people they must only take the election result. They do this. Are you going out of your mind? You forgot the 2 hours you were talking when you were talking nonsense, trash about other people, instead of explaining and telling people to be persuasive why they should vote your candidate. When you're making conspiracy, innuendos, falsehood, subliminal messages, acting like they were real thing, creating all sort of fake news, making up things, thinking that you're going to persuade voters. I think people are no longer stupid. So just how you lie to them, they lie to you too when they were going to the pool, because you were never honest to them. And some of you had a perfect platform, venue, outlet. And guess what? The very leader themselves, they sit down there and they allow these things to happen. They never say anything. They never had the courage. Yes, I know you support me, but can you please talk about my infrastructure plan, how I want to build the coastal road? Can you talk about my education? Can you talk how we make macro or grow the economy? Can you talk about my education plan, how I intend to restructure the education system in the country? Can you talk about how much I intend to invest into agriculture for small businesses? They didn't do it. They were sitting down there, they were throwing hay. People were giving them money. They took it. Voter went, they became the principal deciders. And we want to throw everything on the election commission? I think that is unfair. Yes, they have their part to play. Election commission went there, they were crying for money. As lawmakers, they were taking fabulous paycheck. There is a committee in both houses of government responsible to have oversight on the election commission. Or the thing that just, that's not the responsibility of the international community to sponsor election. They have to facilitate, to do other things, observers and other stuff. It is the country. But when you have your lawmaker who put the interests of themselves first, that's why most of them were red-carded. They need not to go back, because there's no reason of them going back. And because of you, supporter, you are so politically mind-driven. You see A and you think that it is. There's no behind. Your people, your leaders doing things, you do not have the guts. They're starting it now, being very disrespectful to people. And you can't even tell them. You think we'll put you in there, they're not trouble again coming. And some of you will come right back here and start telling us, I didn't know. You knew because you didn't ask. We need to check all. We, all of us, directly, indirectly, responsible for what is going on, because we are not honest. Everybody play deceit. You don't want to look into somebody's face and say, no, yes, I don't hate you as a person, but this your platform, this your agenda for the country, I don't think is in my interest. So I can't vote for you. You don't want to put a feedback. Then you take it. They go inside there. How many of you cognizant of the fact that every rally is packed? Most likely you do a really proper video recording, the same people, they are there. Why you think they are there? Because the country, people are suffering, people want to eat. So anywhere they go to find something, obviously they have to go there. It doesn't mean they're going to vote for you. It was a disgrace as a country, as a people of 5 million, and you have 0.5% of that number registered to participate. 2.2,700,000 people registered. What happened to the 3 million plus? What happens to them? Are they not Liberians? What led them to that decision? Is anybody asking? Why all these 100 some more thousand votes were disqualified? How many people did not participate in the process? And we don't even know what's going to happen in the second round. Because politicians, you created a situation that people are fed up. You make them to lose confidence in you, so they lose the appetite. Why it is truly supposed to vote? They say, well, I'm going to find something for my kids to eat, then to go vote. Because when I even put a council there, you're going to be the same 6 and 7. We did it the last time around, not first, not second, not third. Have you, as a leader who want to go in this building as a chief occupant, have you communicated with Liberia? Do you understand their daily needs, what they need or what they want? Or you just think by making the pronouncement, I'll make be president, I'll be president, everything will, you know how long we'll be hearing that? Look at your surrounding. Some of the people that are around you, how they talk, how they approach people. It creates fears in the minds of the people. So most people, when you talk to people, I want to vote for that man. But the kind of people that are behind him, the kind of people that are behind her, then they back off. But you have that impression already that the vote is for you. But it went in there, their instinct kick in. No, I'm not going this way because of her, because of she, because how you talk to people. Leaders are listeners, and they can be the last to speak. Listen to the positive signal. Anyone comes your way, they will say it doesn't mean they are stupid. Listen to their point, and then you can speak. You should not be the first to speak. A good leader always the last one. Everybody speak. He or she condenses the idea of the people. You do not have to be definitive to say, I will do it. A good leader will say, I hear you. I will get back to you. I will think about it. I heard all what you people say. No one makes stupid statement here. Everything you say, even if it doesn't make sense, if it even tell you say your nose big, say I hear you. It make them go at ease. It reassures them. It make them to relax. But you have people who are talking for you. When they talk one time, then the whole ground shake. And you think people listen to the people, you think they're going to give their vote? Or because when they show up to your rally, these people scares people away. How many of you are aware of that? Why all these proliferations of political parties? And now you're wondering about the mystery man, Apeton? Oh, Apeton was taking his little stool, his bench, and sitting down to that old lady. Ma, I beg you, please vote for me. I will change your life. He was not shouting. He was not going on Facebook. He was not screaming. He was shaking their hands. He was looking in their eyes and tell them, well, you have a bunch of deceitful people, bunch of hypocrites, bunch of sycophants, and just after the money, they say, oh, that man, don't worry about it, don't worry. We're going to get our own. The voting voting and you can't make noise here. People should reject vote. Nobody going to reject vote. And nothing keep going to happen in that country. For those of you sit inside Liberia, in the diaspora, if you don't reside, the people steal your vote. Not steal no damn vote. You sit down behind your microphone and you causing trouble. That's what the ambassador was saying. Yes, we can agree and disagree with the government. You draw the contrast where the government is failing. You point that out and you tell us why your candidate will do, how they're going to do it differently. You don't. You wish and proclaim death over people. You're not God. And you think God going to listen to you? See how the country was looking the last 2 days. It was on edge. Because people want things to happen. And you're saying it because some of you were not there. For some of us that went through it from the onset. Well, door, they were coming for door, we saw window, roof, and everything going. And so anybody, and media is a very unique tool that is meant to create an awareness for people to be informed. The work of a media, you're not for, you're not against government. You intercede, you between to enhance, to pass message on to the people. But people sit on outlets and say all sort of things that has the propensity to create violence in the country, and they are in their comfort zone. They need to stop. And you sit down, you cheer these people up. Where if you don't have anybody in that country, other people have. We have. You want to be president. It comes with responsibility. You want to be leader, you don't even have control over your people. They don't listen to you. They don't value your word. They don't take instruction. And what kind of leader you want to be? And then they sit on this outlet and they boast. I will tell WIA, I will tell JMB, who the hell you are. And now you think you want to intimidate everybody? We will call you out, and we are watching. We are keeping diary. We are keeping mark, audios, your sounds, your voice that resembles chaos in the country. If you hear, that's how we're going to release it. If you don't know, for some of you, they are keeping track of things that we say, things that we do. And they are checking all of us. People listen to us. And our tone, our language is not conciliatory. It's not about reconciliation, how our country will grow. But we're knocking people's heads together to cause confusion because you want that political favor to be the guy tomorrow. If someone is elected, so you will be the Goliath. You want to go into work in government. Is that the only way to cause chaos, to cause confusion? When you are unable to perfectly interpret the core values of your candidate, what he or she represents. But when you look at the country again and you look at the people, then it's a difficult things to do. Where you found the propagandists, those that are doing the dirty work, and people who wants to give the news, we are struggling in that to cut through that corridor. So more or less, Liberians found themselves to be entertained than the actual news. And that's the problem. They left for people to lie to them, just make up some kind of thing. They take it, they run with it without even questioning that person. I get this news, I get this information. This is what's happening now. And people drowned into this sort of propaganda. What good? We got to put our acts together. We all have to put our acts together. The war now is engulfed with so many things. See the Ukraine, you see Israel, and that of the Palestinians right now. Every country, everybody throwing their own Kenya, and people sit down because of their own to be politically rewarded. Even a Joy Weir, Joseph Boyka, if any elections that has that will create, you able to leave from here to go take office in Liberia? Can you go? Where are you going to land? You have your own or private jet? When last some of you been there? See how that city looks like. What are the plans of these people in terms of these young folks that are in the country? How they intend to reconstruct their life so that it will be integrated into society? We have never had an opportunity to talk about that. President. When they get there, now you put in there, or you just think Liberia is some sort of experiment. People just won't be trying things. It's not a laboratory. The country is, we can have a laboratory in our medical facility, but we can have a laboratory as a government. And that's why you're one. We put it one day. Yeah, they want to do, yeah, try it one year. They're not susu. Government is not a susu thing. It comes with tolerance. It comes with leadership, the ability to lead, to ability to stabilize, to make informed decisions for your people. We are about to give people authority to be our Antonin. We are electing senators. We are electing representatives. We'll be electing president. They're not going to come back to us to get our consensus. They're going to go in chambers, discuss, and make decisions. The president going to be making a decision. What are you considering for the president that will be making decisions in your behalf? What are the factors are you considering? What meets your criteria as a human being for somebody to speak for you? It's like you go to court and you have a lawyer. Do you just go and just grab anybody who is not a lawyer? You grab them outside your way out and go to? No. You want to know the lawyer. You want to unveil yourself to the lawyer. You want to tell the lawyer everything so he or she can argue your point. These people that met you face to face, or you just listen to some bunch of hungry people who trying to find their way, bulldoze their way, because they feel government in Africa in its totality is where you can get quick wealth, and we just agree to it without even questioning it, even if we do not like what is happening right now. You have the right to answer it, because they will not, when they get it, they're not going to come back to you. All they're going to do is to give justification. And we think the country is going to be good. It's 11:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's about the country. We can still make it. We can still take a change. 20 what? Kennedys? They won't go in this building. What do they want to go in the building? What are they taking there? How do they intend to change, affect people's lives? We never had an opportunity to really engage in. There were some Kennedys, they just go to specific platform. So what happens to the rest of the Liberian people on the other side who have different views of what we're doing things? Now, it didn't work on that way. That's what happened. When you narrow yourself, when you restrict yourself, your votes can be restricted as well, because you didn't reach a broader spectrum. How weak political minded these people are. If you know very well LPR favors you, why should you even devote your time here? Then go somewhere where people disagree with you, so that they will see your other side of you as a human being and as a person, to say, oh, wait a minute, I thought this is how she was, this is how he looks like. I'm seeing a different side. That's how you get people across. But you only go to people who you want to be, yeah, just like giving you cocoa peanut butter and jelly. Folks, thank you so much. It's about the country, and we are keeping notes of all of these people that are making divisive statements about the country. It's all because of themselves, especially when they do not even have the guts to challenge one of their own. When they say it, then they water it down. It's okay. When other people say it, then they burst into flame. We are seeing it happening over and over. I want to thank you so much. We're going to go back to your comments, and we'll be reading it. This is what, that's the difference of LPR. The nomenclature of our institutions reflect. And this is why when people, oh, don't bring the other person. Where you take the other person from? Nobody don't give up money. So they can't even tell. Sometimes one of our reporters said had a motor accident. We're still looking for money. So who gonna tell me, say the person, you, what right you have? You only control and remote those institutions that you give money to. So even if you're giving me money, you're giving it at your own volition. You're not going to tell me who to talk to, who not to talk to. And this is why we maintain civility on this network. We believe, strongly believe, it is our core value. All Liberian voices must be heard. Even if we do not want to hear those voices, they do have a shared responsibility to talk, to speak, and discuss about their country. All we call for is civil conversations, and this is what the civil men say, conference. You don't want to hear certain people, you want to hear certain people. That's how you're going to lead. When you are a leader for all. If somebody is a sedition, somebody is a liberty partisan, somebody is a unity partisan, and you say you just want to hear one side, you don't want to hear the other side, have you asked why that person is supporting the party he or she is supporting? Or you just, because you don't have the ability to convince them, you don't have the argument to get them over? Of course you can. If you be a little bit tolerant and listen to them, their side of the story, why they are making decisions they are making. This is what we talk to people. And we don't talk what you think you want to hear to come on this network. If that's the reason, I'm sorry. Sometimes it goes in your favor, sometimes it goes against you. And that's how it's supposed to be. It's all about information sharing. We tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear. So most people, they get in feelings when you call their leaders, and they take it personal. We don't take anything personal here. You better get over it. If you care your cholesterol, your blood pressure, or it on you, we don't have that insurance, anything. We don't want that to happen. So this is why even if you're here, you can call me, whether sedition, liberty, whatever, uncover, on top of. It doesn't matter. That's your opinion. That's your view. You have the right. We will never restrict that. As long as it's not an insult, but you're expressing why you strongly, that's your convictions. You are entitled to it. As long as it's not an insult. And guess what? We learn a great deal. Every night after the program, I go back and read every comment, and it's a learning process. Very suddenly to say I will black, unless you become very disrespectful, not necessarily to me, but to other audience, also someone else who expressing his or her opinion, and you become condescending, then we'll warn you. So we do not engage in that. All we want a stable society. If you are not honest to the people you support, we will be honest to the electors and the Liberian people. Until then, we're waiting for the official announcement. We have a lot of information as well. Should I just come out here as a media person and throw this out to undercut the work of the people that are doing it and to create some sort of harbor or cloud over the system? No, that's not right. Have a pleasant evening, and let God bless our motherland as it goes. Waiting for the official announcement from the National Election Commission. Have a pleasant day. Bye-bye.